It is a fast-acting viral strain that infects the host immediately, and upon getting sick, the infected will become racked with coughs, sweat profusely, and start to get the shivers and chills.
There he is, the legend. The man, the myth, the legend.
Yeah. You can't literally run a promotion just for the AEW, what do they call them, sickos?
Thank you very much, TikTok and AEW. See you tonight.
Tony Khan started telling people there's no such thing as long-term booking anymore. It's week to week.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
We just secured the bag.
It's not like I tried to be a character. It was just sort of happened naturally. But it was never something I intended. It was just something that happened because the wrestlers asked me to do things in matches, and I do them.
If you run a promotion just for the sickos, you're going to do 400,000 viewers eventually.
Effing melts. Know that SmackDown actually went over and everything?
Yeah.
You know,
What's the point?
the point of SmackDown.
What are you getting at here?
That the DVRs didn't pick it up.
Did they not pick it up?
Mine didn't.
Let's get into everybody's favorite moment, and it is called Dave Meltzer's Dumb Moment of the Week.
What would you like to listen to in your ears?
I'd like to hear the flute.
Well, if you'd like to flaunt your flute, then we can find you a flautist.
We just secured the bag.
It doesn't help me.
Okay, so complain, but
I will complain.
Let me have my misery!
And when I heard that, I was like, what?
Thank you, fuck you, bye, boom.
You got to run a promotion for everybody. The sickos can be the ones that buy tickets first and spend the most money on the merchandise.
Because we just secured the bag.
But, like, you got to promote for everybody. Then you'll have a lot of viewers.
I think we proved a lot of so-called experts. We made them look like idiots. We're not going anywhere. Tony Khan's not going anywhere.
You'll also be there on TNT. You'll be in 2 places at once. You'll be like my favorite movie. Son of God. It's so great, Pittsburgh.
It's not like I tried to be a character. It sort of happened naturally.
the best guy is Tony Khan.
To keep themselves safe.
Every booking is golden, you see. Perfect cards crafted for you and me. Yeah, the best guy's Tony Khan, it's true. Triple cup, best damn booker in the land. 3 red cups stacked up, always in command. Triple cup, living legend of the fight. Just a call away from making it right. Never see him back card, no way. Got the whole roster locked in for the day. A Crimson Tower, modern art. Triple cup. Triple cup. Every booking is golden, you see. Perfect cards crafted for you and me. Yeah, the best guy's Tony Khan, it's true. Triple cup. Best damn booker in the land. 3 red cups stacked up, always in command. Triple cup. Living legend of the fight. Just a call away from making it right. Never see him back card, no way. Got the whole roster locked in for the day. A Crimson Tower, modern art. Triple cup. Triple cup.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another eclectic edition of PWT Live Show Saturday night. Yeah. I am your host, Phil S. Marks, ladies and gentlemen.
You are a naive, brainless, pathetic, idiotic, clueless, dumbass Mark.
And on tonight's show, we have updates on all of the TNA stuff. So on PWT Live Show Wednesday night, Time Cop, we talked about all of the TNA recent releases, Tessa Blanchard and all of that. Well, we have updates. We have statements from some of these folks. And also TNA is ready to sell, allegedly, according to somebody that, I don't know, I think is acting in good faith personally. And Will Ospreay and Jey Uso both got dragged. So Will Ospreay, again, we covered him on Wednesday, but he's a regular fool here at PWT. And so tonight, Will Ospreay, you know, there's a follow-up to his promo that he cut on Wednesday. People had comments about that. And then he got dragged online, but also Jey Uso got dragged because of what went down on SmackDown and him advancing in the King of the Ring tournament. We're going to talk about SmackDown a little bit and the King of the Ring tournament. Also, we have dirt sheet fails lined up for tonight's rating. Miscellaneous news. We have some great nuggets. This isn't a repeat show. I know the news. I could have put Jim Ross fell down again in the title. We're going to talk about that, but I decided not to. Okay. And yeah, well, we also have a super chat goal. So if we get 10 super chats, starting with this one, I see one right here. If we get 10 tonight, we will also do a sicko segment. Okay. That I have constructed for us this evening if we get to it. Okay. If the fans want it, if the listeners want it, you guys let me know, the viewers, you guys at home. Speaking of super chats, guys, you can do that to support me. Check out patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times. And I do have some drops coming on there this week. Shout out the patrons. And also you can just hit the like button, hit heart on X, retweet, all of that good stuff. And on Kick, I just need to get whatever approved, and then, which I'm there. I just need to get Kick needs to get back to me, and then we can gift subs there or whatever. So that's awesome. Shout you guys out. Round of applause to the PWT universe. Okay, you guys deserve the fucking credit for all of that. Thank you so much. Those are my plugs. And Rabid Wolverine LC Killer 17 for 5 says the reason the sickos and the wackos are saying it's a product because half of them are drug addicts. I'm over now. Yeah, dude, listen, you're not entirely wrong. Yeah, I don't know. It's a triggering word for me now. Everybody calls wrestling product. The product I'm seeing. It's like, Jesus Christ, are we really? It's just called product now. The PWE, Product Wrestling Entertainment. Okay, guys. So we need to get into stuff as people file in. How you guys doing? I watched a movie called Cold Storage. Okay, have you guys seen Cold Storage? It's with that kid from Stranger Things and Liam Neeson. Okay, but they're on camera together all but one scene. I swear to God, maybe it's one scene for sure, and then from there, if you look closely, maybe they cross paths in the same area, like in a scene later, but it's literally the same. It would have been filmed in the exact same spot, and so maybe they interact there. Otherwise, they don't even cross paths. It's quite interesting. JWT 6577 for 5 says, did someone say drugs? I was told to just say no. Yeah, we had that PSA back in the day. Don't you put it in your mouth. Don't you put it in your mouth. Don't you stuff it in your face. It's a young Phil Marks there for you guys. You remember that? Don't you put it in your mouth. Ken Dudley for 5 says, hey, Phil, sorry to bother you at work. Just chipping in for the sicko segment. Ooh, no, dude, I love when you bother me at work here. This is for fun too, but you know what they say. You gotta be a hoe. Where the fuck is my sicko drop? Oh, yeah. I renamed once. StreamYard did something. Thank you so much, Ken Dudley. I acknowledge all of you as well. They did something where...
Acknowledge me.
They like updated shit, whatever. My sounds all got jumbled or whatever, and they were out of order. Fine. I started renaming a bunch of them, but then I like separated the Dave ones from the fucking whatever. It doesn't matter. Behind the scenes, business meeting, beginning to PWT. So I hope you guys are doing good. I hope you watched some good shit. I've been watching some wrestling too. I didn't get a chance to watch MLW tonight. I think, is Collision on? I don't even. Yeah, it's trending. Okay, we'll throw Collision on. And then I think like a AAA show. Again, I don't catch every AAA show. I really should. There's so much wrestling out there. But speaking of which, let's get into miscellaneous news. And I appreciate you guys. Again, round of applause one more time for you guys, the PWT Universe. And ladies and gentlemen, it is time for miscellaneous news brought to you by Wade Barrett.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
So John Cena and Jimmy Fallon cream pied each other. And they did this pop quiz show where they both got all gooped up. They got all glazed up. And let's take a look here. Shout out The Tonight Show and Jimmy Fallon. We'll skim through this a little bit, but basically they answer questions. John Cena picked, like wrestling was a category. He picked like 17th century philosophers and stuff like that. So it's pretty funny.
Must come down.
I've always said this. Fallon to me has been like tolerable. I've always been a fan of him. I get it. Some people hate his conduct on SNL and whatnot. Maybe it's a little too much, whatever. He's perfect for this Tonight Show type role. And that's why he's done it so long successfully. And that's why he's the one of the lot where everyone isn't like canceled.
Please watch Little Brother. I'm doing this too.
So Cena just got glazed there, and I'm not talking about my reviews of his retirement run. But yeah, he's all creamy, and then Alan gets cream pied too. He's promoting this like Eric Andre movie that he's got coming out. I don't know why I didn't put this in WWE news, actually, just being honest. But I think we could just talk about that clip right now. So actually, let me just on the fly jump over here and I'll play this clip because Cena's been doing promotion for this movie he's got with Eric Andre coming out. I'm not even entirely sure when that movie comes out, but I do have it as like it's on my wish list or whatever, my notify me's. I'm going to get notified when that shit drops. I think it's just coming out on Netflix or something, if I'm not mistaken. And it looks funny, genuinely, from the trailer. I'm just trying to see. I swear I had a clip of like Eric Andre. They're at the premiere and his clothes got ripped off. I'm jumping the shark here explaining it, but I'm also right here. Okay, I knew I had this. So over here in WWE news, again, they were promoting this film and Eric Andre, he got his gear ripped off. He tried to do like a funny bit because it's what he does. Speaking of funny bits, dude, RIP Oliver Tree as well. That's like crazy. And he puts on a Reigns shirt. So again, I'm jumping ahead here. This is part of WWE news. So there you go. And yeah, be sure to check out Cena's new shit. It does look legitimately funny. He also has that Coyote versus Acme movie, like that Looney Tunes or it's like Coyote and Roadrunner or something like, I can't remember, but it was on the shelf at Warner Bros. And then some other distribution company picked it up and got the rights to distribute it and put it in theaters, I guess. So I'll be sure to check that out too. Cena mostly is in like stuff that isn't child friendly as well, which is funny considering like in the wrestling business, it's more or less the complete opposite. Sorry guys, let me just pull this up again. Little weird tech here going on StreamYard's end, or maybe mine, I don't know. So JCW Ring Rat music video alludes to her sleeping with Vince McMahon and Kane. So Paige Collette, the Ring Rat, dropped a music video, I guess. Now I typed it into Twitter. I didn't go any further than that. Let's see. I guess it aired during their whole show. So I don't know if I got to skim through this whole ass show. Okay, they might have did it right here for us. Okay, let's check this out. So the Ring Rats music video, ladies and gentlemen, from one rapper to another. I don't know. She might be singing.
Fuck up, Caleb.
Fuck up.
Okay.
She's the ring rat, ass big as 2 beach balls, blowing stars in.
Oh shit. Lincoln Hawk's been a member for 23 months, but he also gifted 5 Pro Wrestle Clips memberships. Oh my goodness.
We'll rule you.
Oh my goodness. Let's crank this shit up for Lincoln Hawk, everybody. Let's go.
She's the ring rat and goes from star to star. Sex in your dressing room, a back of your.
Oh, it's just her theme song, like someone's rapping it. Everybody thank Lincoln Hawk if you received a gift.
She's the ring rat and she's got nut in her hair. Her ass always swallow that thong she wears. She's the ring rat and she'll betray you quick like a baboon swinging from dick to dick. She's no lover.
This song is fucking ridiculous, man. Are you guys listening to the lyrics? This one's dedicated to you, Lincoln.
She ain't your friend. You earn the money, she's quick to spend. She'll break your heart and then leave you fast. To make a donkey's butt look like crackhead ass. And when she make that ass shake, the ring rat will cause an earthquake. And when she make that ass shake, the ring rat will cause an earthquake.
Shout out JCW Lunacy and Psychopathic Records and all of that shit. And Lincoln Hawk. Amazing, everybody. And that counts as a super chat. Obviously, we'll count that. Thank you so much. My goodness. Were you guys listening to the lyrics of that? Oh, my goodness. Spectacular. I give that a I don't know. I give it a Jamaican air horn or Jamaican laser. Don DeMarco. So we move along here. And speaking of the indies, the Bruiserweight, speaking of beating that ass up, the Bruiserweight is back. And Pete Dunne returned to Attack Pro Wrestling for the first time since December 2018. And you got to pay extra for that El Grande, even if you're like a Los Grandes or whatever, right? You got to pay extra for that. The comment, the announcer, the prize are white. Just losing his mind.
It has been 2,743 days. On great. This place is electric.
This is way better for the wrestlers as well in WWE, who a guy like Pete Dunne, who will never unfortunately, be taken overly seriously in WWE to the point he's getting world title runs and all of this shit. He finds this kooky gimmick alongside El Grande, which is like a kooky gimmick, but like the biggest fucking gimmick, arguably the biggest gimmick in the world. As far as like what constitutes a gimmick, you know? A German dude playing a fucking Mexican luchador is way over the top. And he's not even the original guy to do it, but he's more over than the original version. So, you know, Dunn's doing that, producing, agenting, helping people in the back, helping the boys in the back, and then he gets to go do shit like this where they go, "Beat the boys away!" Fucking, you know, guy has a seizure in the ring, announcing Pete Dunne, you know, like this is way better for Pete Dunne to be able to take this and go do Bloodsport or whatever, in my opinion, at least, because you know he's making bank. He's probably making like the most money of his career. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm not pocket watching the man, but I bet it's safe to say, as a talent in and out, and well, he's talented outside of the ring. Apparently, he's producing all these bangers too, isn't he? It's like him and Bate back there, and I don't know if Bate's doing much like producing, but Pete Dunne's name has been associated. I feel like, maybe I'm wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure, if memory serves me correct, his name's been attached to like producing a bunch of fucking matches in recent memory where we've been like, damn, that was the best match of the night or whatever. So shout him out, and shout out Attack Pro Wrestling, obviously. So we move along here. CMLL and New Japan Pro Wrestle, and I didn't get a chance to watch Fantastica Mania. You know, Dave Meltzer did. You know, Dave Meltzer watched the shit out of it. Okay? But
let's talk about it.
Lucha Kingdom has been announced, and it'll be November 16th in Arena, Mexico. Again, CMLL and New Japan cooking harder than CMLL and AEW. New Japan and AEW. This to me just feels and looks cooler. Lucha Kingdom, like instead of Tone using like old recycled fucking WWE PLE names and stuff like this, could have been on board with the Lucha Kingdom somehow and having AEW representation in there. Who knows? Who knows if how Forbidden Door goes down, or if we even see him partnered with any. A lot of people are like, dude, these partners are going to ditch him. I don't know. I'm on some fuck New Japan time right now until they really figure it out. Because like you got Ospreay just talking shit on them after everything. I've already gone off about this, but everything Tone's done to just gut them of the last decade's worth of fucking stars that were being built there. And Ospreay's just talking shit on them and while putting over Callum Newman. Get the fuck out of here. Anyways, let's move along before I get too triggered. Speaking of big events, man, House of Glory, they've been putting on a ton of big events, what feel big for the indies, and they're leaving Triller TV. They have announced that tonight's Inferno event will be the last one streaming live on Triller. Their next event will be High Intensity on August 7th. No word yet on what streaming platform they'll be on. The Hardys are the HOG champs. And we jumped over to WWE news. Why don't we just jump on over to AEW news here for a second as well, while we're on the topic of HOG, because they also, something should be noted, HOG, they're leaving Triller, obviously. Okay. Now, one thing that happened recently and that we know for sure, Tony Khan has pull with HOG. He's gotten JD pulled off of announcing gigs and all of these things, right? House of Glory Wrestling had a run-in from Leo Rush. Obviously, you know, MJF's wrestled there, AEW guys wrestle there, but Leo Rush, this gimmick that's kind of getting over, you know, he won the title. You guys can see Leo Rush won the World TV Championship. And this gimmick's getting over. Now, again, when he was doing this shit in Nuge, or it wasn't even Nuge, I think it was just like in Japan in general, I was putting this shit over, and I didn't like when they started Crew. You can go back, listen to my show, and hear me say it. I didn't like how when they, with Crew, I was like, okay. And for those of you who don't know, Top Flight like became a 5-man group, and then Leo Rush and Action Andretti broke off and became Crew. And I bet a bunch of people didn't even know that. They're like, oh, come on now, Phil. That never even fucking happened. You're making it up. Prove it. Right? But that shit happened, I assure you. And when they did that, I was like, damn, it would be cool if maybe they tried something different, did this Blackheart thing. A bunch of people were clowning on this shit. I said, look, dude, I like it. It's different, man. I just want different. I want them to sports entertain it up a little bit more and not in the Orange Cassidy way. And I know that they can't get away with, WWE can get away with Danhausen because everybody wants to go, oh, well, if you're a body guy and they're all serious and everything's all just, goofy over there and stuff, even though they're just like having matches and telling stories. And it's like, yes, there's outlandish characters. Like you have to have an element of that. Undertaker's the dumbest shit of all time. I've said this a million times. He's a zombie dead guy. Okay. We believed that shit for decades. Decades and decades. He's one of the greatest of all time. But that gimmick, the idea, and he got it over, So Leo Rush, he's getting it over. Good for him. You need to get wacky like this. And it's hard with AEW because you see so much bullshit that when someone tries something like this, everyone's just ready to shit on it. Give it a chance. I'm not saying just this title proves anything, but he showed up at HOG, and I say this to say HOG will show up on MyAEW. I guarantee that will be announced soon. If it hasn't already, we have new fucking feds getting announced for it every 10 minutes, it feels like. And I agree. Chat's like, there's no explanation on TV. I agree. Abso-fucking-lutely. That's on Tone. That's on AEW for sure. I'm just saying, like, but just like in a vacuum, the gimmick and Leo and the work he's doing, give it a chance. People are into it. He had to go to Japan to start doing this thing in the first place. And now he got a chance to try it out. And Tone's like, oh, that's really good. Tone couldn't pull a Phil Marks and just see that shit online or watch a match of his where he's doing that gimmick and go, hey, Leo, let's tell this story where however you get to it, fucking El Clone tries to clone you and then you come out like a demon or something. Like, that's stupid, but I'm just saying off the top of my head, right? It's a crazy demon thing. Maybe Blue Sky Black mists you or whatever the fuck. And then you Blue Sky and Black Mist sound like stripper names. Oh, go, go, go. But like, she got black or was that Julia Hart? She got black misted by Malachi Black way back or whatever, right? Aleister Black. She miss him and then he goes crazy. I don't fucking know. You got to think of something that might be played out entire too, but we're just like throwing shit out. We're spitballing ideas, right? I agree. They need to explain this on TV and shit. And like have more than him just doing this gimmick, because then it's just Abaddon. It's just, okay, we'll call you when it's Halloween. And that's where Abaddon, it's like, okay, she's got a look. Some people find it grotesque. Some people go, this is just shit I do not want to see. But do you want to see someone beat the shit out of Abaddon? I say, yeah. It's like, it's the direction like Bray Wyatt was going in with how outlandish his like burned victim Bray Wyatt, like he got crazy with it, the Fiend burned victim Fiend. Abaddon was like, if she leaned in that direction and they gave her like a fucking story and made like a spooky faction that she was, and they just give me a reason, even if it's Danhausen, I'm willing to sit there and laugh at Danhausen shocking Zack Ryder and The Miz and making them say their own old fucking catchphrases. You just got to like explain it to me and give me enough of the character where I understand like why they're the way they are. That's on Tone. That's not on Leo Rush. Right? And we're going to put over a gimmick like this in WWE news, whatever. We don't need to watch all this, but because there's a new gimmick I'm super high on in WWE and NXT right now. Yeah, I like it. I've always liked it since I first saw it, and I just hope it keeps getting more over for him. And yeah, let's see it fleshed out on television. But just picture it this way: like if all of a sudden Finn Balor became the Demon, and then he started like working with Demon Leo Rush, and they told some Demon story, and he was doing this shit, everyone would be like, "This is crazy." They'd be like, "This is insane. This is dope." Because it's kind of gives off like Finn Balor Demon Balor vibes in a way, so I'm with it 100%. Let's jump back over to miscellaneous news and shout out House of Glory, which is for surely going to end up on MyAEW. Speaking of someone who won't end up in AEW, Avery Styles, son of AJ Styles, will be making his professional wrestling debut next Friday for Squared Circle Action in Royston, Georgia. I wonder if he's going to wrestle as Air Avery. Averiation? Am I right? Let's think of more names, chat. Avery Styles, son of WWE Hall of Famer AJ Styles. And it kind of sucks they put that on the graphic. And they go, the debut of a future star. And he's taking on Ashton Martin. What a goddamn funny name. So, yeah, AJ will be in Avery's corner, and we will see AJ one day tag with his son. And that's going to be crazy, too. And I wonder if he goes on a tag run. It'll be interesting. So, shout out Avery Styles. He'll obviously be coming up through the PC. So speaking of WWE structure and how things work, Raj Desi, a.k.a. Jinder Mahal, explains how a WWE contract works, and then we have like a crazy story. Well, before we jump into that, I guess. Well, no, we already went all over because we have a crazy Calypso, a pro wrestler named Calypso dropped a bomb about this ROE event. Okay? But let's check out Jinder Mahal, who explains how a WWE contract works.
How does a WWE contract actually work? For this example, let's sign a 3-year, $1 million per year contract downside guarantee. WWE pays its talent every single week. So take your downside guarantee of $1 million divided by 52 for 52 weeks. Your weekly check will be $19,230. For the sake of this example, let's round it up to $20,000. Now, with a downside guarantee, that $20,000 check will come in regardless if you are injured or if you wrestle 7 days a week, same amount every single week. Now, can a WWE wrestler out-earn their downside guarantee? Absolutely. A downside guarantee is only a minimum. There is no maximum. There is no set maximum. So what WWE uses is what's called a bucket system.
We already heard like Eminem or MXM or whatever, Mason Mansois, break this down.
Now, the bucket system is imaginary in nature. It is essentially off the books. You will receive the same amount every single week. But what the bucket does is it keeps track of how much money is going out and how much money you are actually earning. Television tapings, live events, pay-per-views, merchandise, everything goes into this bucket. So let's start the bucket off, obviously, week 1 at 0. $20,000 goes out. You wrestled on Raw, you got $5,000, imaginary number. All of these numbers are imaginary. Your balance in the bucket is negative $15,000 after week 1. Don't let it scare you. Your weekly amount remains the same. Week 2, same thing. Minus $20,000 for your weekly pay. You brought in $5,000 for Raw. You're now negative.
How do they know you brought in 5,000 though? Like, how do they determine what, like, let's just say the Motor City Machine Guns were drawing versus Chelsea Green and the Secret Harvest, or take even bigger names than that? Like, how do they know if Jade is bringing in as much as fucking Punk or whatever? Like, obviously CM Punk's bringing in more, right? So that's a bad example, but I guess they're both near or around the world championship. So that's easier to determine, but you get what I'm saying, like someone closer in proximity. Dragon Lee and fucking Rusev or whatever, like they're getting used the same amount, it feels like. How do you know? Maybe it's just a set amount for anybody that they consider below a certain, you're mid-lower, so you get this much.
Negative $30,000, don't let it scare you. Same amount hits your bank account. Week 3, $20,000 goes out. You work a pay-per-view, you get $50,000. You wrestle on Raw, $10,000. You were in the main event.
There's no way they go, listen, you were on, or maybe they just do it straight up. Like if you're CM Punk, you just get the same, like they just divide it, whatever the number is among everyone. But I'm sitting here going, let's say you're in Boston and John Cena pulls up, like everybody gets a cut of that, and then he just gets what his guarantee is. Yeah, they probably just do it that way. A very good balance of capitalism and sort of a social approach there. No, I'm joking. I have no idea. But because if James Ellsworth shows up, you mean to tell me he's worth $5,000 as well when fucking who's on the show, right? Whoever, name a guy. So it's interesting.
It was a sold out arena. You are now positive $10,000 in this bucket. That doesn't mean you get $10,000. Again, this is imaginary. It's plus $10,000, but your weekly check remains the same. And if it was in the negative.
And when you buy tickets to Raw, so Kaiju says, when you buy tickets to Raw or SmackDown a month in advance, you have no clue what the card will be. So saying someone is a draw is BS. Yeah, exactly. So maybe they do it that way. Just a more like everybody takes the same piece of the pie because you're on this show and it did this business. You all earn this. But then obviously everyone's downside is going to be different based on where you're at level-wise. So that would be, and then obviously your merch, like if you're Punk, you're moving way more merch. So you're okay with that. You're like, for sure. That's cool.
You do not owe WWE money. This is imaginary in nature for now. Week 4, $20,000 goes out. You wrestle on Raw, $5,000. You get a $100,000 merchandise check, except you do not receive the check. It goes into the bucket. In your bucket, you are up $95,000. Now, what happens when a wrestler gets injured or they're no longer being used on television? Same thing, your weekly check remains the same, but you will notice your bucket amount, your balance will start to decrease. If you were in the positive, you could soon be in the negative. If you were already in the negative, you could be further in the negative. Again, don't be alarmed by the negative amount. You do not owe WWE this money.
It's like that. I think it's The Simpsons where I think Marge or someone finishes with like a negative number on Jeopardy, and then they go out the back of the studio and it's like, get them, boys. They're roughing them up for the fucking.
Let me explain. So week 36 months later, you come back and you main event WrestleMania. You earn $500,000, except you do not get paid $500,000. It goes into the bucket. Whatever you were negative by, this will offset it. Now, let's assume for the rest of the year, I was wrestling on Raw regularly. I got merchandise and I had a few pay-per-view matches. At week 52, I am positive $325,000.
So what does the bucket go up to though? Like where does it start? It's just, it offsets. Okay. So just once you get above your, like you're not in the minus anymore, whatever you earn above that, I assume he's going to say you get paid that or a large percentage of it. Okay.
My bucket. And by week 52, I will have received $1 million on my downside guarantee. And this amount of $325,000 will essentially be a bonus. So the total amount that I made for that year would be $1.35 million. Now, for most wrestlers, I would say over 90% of wrestlers, this number is going to be in the negative. And if it's in the negative, does not matter, because after week 52, we go back to week 1 and your balance starts at 0. You do not owe WWE any money. Year 2 starts on this 3-year contract. you will make another $1 million guaranteed.
Yeah, it's a good, simple breakdown of it. Speaking of a breakdown, Calypso dropped this. And I don't think I'm familiar with Calypso, but they pulled up to an ROE indie show and said, this thread contains my personal account of events that I directly witnessed and experienced during my time at ROE this weekend. So when I arrived at the venue, I was among the first people there. We were talking when the promoter arrived holding an AI and Photoshop edited image of Diana Strong that had been altered to make her appear topless. Diana was not there yet. What the fuck? Dude, that is some sicko shit right there. The promoter showed the image to everyone present backstage. When I asked for an explanation, the promoter and manager told me it was part of a storyline. They said that the image would be used as an interference spot to cost Diana her match. They intended to show the image to the live crowd and later feature it on their YouTube shows. I replied that I found it extremely strange, but that the most important thing was whether Diana had agreed to it. The manager then told me she had not been informed yet, even. Oh my God.
For dirtbags and lily pickers.
Lock him up. Throw away the key. Despite this, the image had already been shown to wrestlers and staff members backstage. It's just weirdo shit, dude. The image had even been placed in the men's locker room. The manager told me they would ask Diana when she arrived. What? Oh my, what the fuck? Who's running this shit show? When Diana arrived, she immediately made it clear she did not want the photo to be used. They then decided to replace the planned shot with a light tube attack instead. Oh my God, dude. Even JCW.
You are a naive, brainless, pathetic, idiotic, clueless, dumbass Mark.
So a light tube attack. 2 light tubes were ultimately used. They initially wanted to hit her in the head and even asked whether she would prefer to be hit in the front or the back of the head. She refused to have her head targeted. As a result of the spot, she was cut around her elbows. There was no medical equipment available at the show or in the locker rooms. I asked the manager if there was any medical supplies available anywhere. His response was simply, I don't know. No food was provided to the workers during the show. I landed at 9 a.m. and was taken to a bakery around 11 a.m. so I could buy my own food. After that, nothing was provided. Everyone was expected to find food on their own. This meant finding food on foot without transportation or a vehicle while in a foreign country. When we were finally driven back to the Airbnb at around 12:30 a.m., I asked if there was any way to get something to eat. The promoter replied, "What, now?" then left. One final detail, every male wrestler on the card was listed by name. The only names not included were those of the women, who were simply advertised as Ladies 4v4. And then he took a picture of it. Yeah, Ladies 4v4. And then everybody else had their names. Some may see that as a minor detail. To me, it reflects the same pattern of behavior and lack of respect toward women that I witnessed throughout the event. And this is without these fucking broads, am I right, fellas? And this is without mentioning the disgusting public post made about Violet Knight after she became ill and had to cancel her appearance. Booking talent comes with risks, cancellations, illnesses, and emergencies happen. Following everything that happened, several other workers and I decided not to perform on ROE's second show on Saturday. The vast majority of the roster made the same choice. We explained our concerns directly to the promoter and outlined the issues that led to our decision. Following those discussions, the Saturday show was canceled. Want to apologize to the fans who were looking forward to attending. They deserved a show, and I understand their disappointment. However, given everything that had taken place, I do not believe we could have performed while remaining true to our principles and values. Based on everything I witnessed and experienced during this event, I've made the decision to never work for this promotion again. So, R.I.P. ROE. And that's fucked up. Fuck that guy. Lock him up. You guys already know. That, ladies and gentlemen, was miscellaneous news.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid I've got some bad news.
So I want to jump right into AEW and WWE news because there's not a whole hell of a lot, just being perfectly honest. Make sure you guys hit like, retweet, heart, wherever you're watching this, like, subscribe, all that good shit. Patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes. And if we hit 10 super chats tonight, we'll also do a sicko segment, regardless of how long we go. Appreciate you guys. So let's get into what do we have next? Let's go to AEW news chat. Is that what we're feeling, chat? AEW news chat. What are we feeling? Yeah, JCW never do anything like that. I'm just saying. You might get a cocaine power up, but you're not going to send around AI nudies, bro. Okay, everybody, let's hydrate and let's get into AEW news, guys. And I mean, speaking of AEW,
I look and see it's not just me. So many others have stood where I stand. We are the young, so raise your hand. They call us problem child. We spent our lives on trial. We walk an endless mile. We are the youth gone wild. We stand and we won't fall. We're one and one for all. The writing's on the wall. We are the youth gone wild. Let it get wild. Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, Ichi Nissan Da, it is time for AEW news. And of course, the best guys,
Tony Khan.
So Cap, now on MyAEW.com. Creative Pro Wrestling is now on MyAEW. So a lot of guys in AEW came from there. And yeah, they're just bulking up their library in the Americas. Whoa, because what else are you going to do? And it feels too little too late. And maybe it isn't. I don't know. But the future is clear. MyAEW is the future for where AEW is going to be, Dynamite and all that stuff. And speaking of which, Watch AEW is available on Tubi. So I think it has been made clear. Let's just read their statement. But AEW fans, your favorite professional wrestling is now available on Tubi. Check out Watch AEW Fast channel, absolutely free everywhere. Plus, stream the first 3 seasons of AEW Dynamite anytime, completely free, right now on Tubi VOD. So I don't know if this means that the new episodes are going to go on there. Okay. But Dave Meltzer, if you guys remember, and we can get some flutes in the chat for this. I mean, it's not a whole goddamn
or, the
segment.
young superstar, babyface, that former heel thing. So,
but Dave was saying like, oh, Tubi's affiliated with Fox, Brian, and these sorts of things, right? And this shit always blows up in his face. Oh, they were valued at $2 billion. Oh, this TV deal is worth $185 million, and they're worth even more. So, and then he starts laying down in the Observer. He's like, so I would give them, if I was Paramount, $185 million. Well, why wouldn't you give them more, Dave? I thought they're worth so much more, and everything's up, and they're clearing all this cash. So why aren't they worth $200 million from Paramount? Dave's like lowball pitching ideas of what Paramount should do with, you know what I mean? With AEW.
He had that Cuervo with him the whole time too.
And Dave was on some shit about Tubi is owned by Fox, blah, blah, blah. So Dose posts this, and this is brilliant. So Dose Evil goes, so now all AEW new shows air on Tubi too. Presumably next day, not live, ? Either way, their new shows are on there. Honestly, W for Tone, okay? We will give a best guy to Tone.
Guys, Tony Khan.
You just got the whole idea is just the idea behind the idea, Brian. You got to just promote MyAEW. That's all. You should have been doing this the whole time, but you just need to get on Tubi, YouTube, wherever you can, and promote MyAEW, MyAEW, MyAEW. Here's all the feds. All these indie shows people go to, they see a MyAEW banner now because the creative pros on MyAEW and shit, and they go, we're streaming on MyAEW and all of this stuff. And I went on JJ Alexander's show, and we talked about, he said that the indies are paying to be part of AEW, but the way I looked it up on the air, I was like, I'm looking this up, dude, because I don't think it's that. And the way the structure's broken down is like they're essentially just getting a cut of like the ads and shit, like I predicted, and based on things like retention rate and stuff. That's how MyAEW, I guess, has it structured. And it's funny because, again, Dave doesn't like talk about that shit. Dave's so out of touch. He doesn't understand retention rate and these sorts of things. And it's so funny because that's like a part of what MyAEW, like even Tone knows that that's a key thing. And that matters a lot more than like if 1 million people turn on your show for 30 seconds, that doesn't get rewarded, and algorithms and shit don't like that as much as 750,000 people turned your shit on but watched it for 30 minutes or whatever, you know? So, and that's how YouTube works. That's Netflix, all of these. That's why everyone's like, man, these numbers are wonky with Netflix. Yeah, because they're looking at, like, who even knows how they get to the conclusion? They're looking at all these different fucking things, okay? It's no longer like a key demo. It's like the key demos. There's like 7 different demographics they look at that are all very important. So, either way, I digress with all of that. Dose Evil points out, and this is the key thing nobody's talking about, points for Dose, and he says, new AEW shows air on Tubi 2, presumably next day, not live. If that's correct, they got permission from WBD, which we were told exclusivity was important to them. And it's like, oh, he's so right. Like, he just called out fucking Dave and everybody. Like, you fucked up! You fucked up! One of the main bragging points that Dave's used, a lot of fucking sickos use, are that, like, well, WBD wants exclusivity. It's exclusivity. Now Dave's like, oh, he's like flexing that Tubi's owned by Fox and shit. Okay, but your talking point now goes out the window with the whole exclusivity. WBD, if they weren't happy, why don't they, you know, they want exclusivity. But no, they fucking don't. And their 1 year's coming up. It seems as though somebody told AEW, hey guys, go and shop this around a little bit, because we don't know if you're going to be around. And we don't know if that year option's going to get picked up. It kind of sounds like somebody gave Tone a hookup, and Nicolo Piccolo, love him or fucking hate him, was onto something with the things he said. So kind of silly, but yeah, Dose goes on to say circumstantial evidence, the contract wasn't nearly as high as reported, and Paramount won't renew. You know, that just kind of seems on the money, and it seems like Tone is getting ready to put everything on MyAEW and YouTube. And there's no shame in that. There's no shame in your game, but everybody who joked about like the Tubi title and shit, that's actually gonna be, what do they do? Call them the television titles? They're fucking cooked, man. So maybe they do a YouTube title. Who fucking knows? Maybe they merge them and they become the YouTube titles. So speaking of the roster, let's talk about the roster a little bit. There's some unrest. There's some dope things going on. PWI reports that there's been talk of late about Matt Sydal returning to AEW in the near future. And shout out Matt Sydal, but like, okay. You know, all right, I guess. Sydal had taken time off to have a much-needed foot surgery stemming from a motorcycle wreck years ago that greatly hampered his work in the ring and led to constant pain. Well, I'm glad he's healed up and shit. But again, it's like when Austin Aries is like in MLW. It's like, oh yeah, I remember him. He's cool. He was cool at one point. but I don't really care. I'm more into like skyscrapers and shit like that, and some of the other stuff. I like Killer Cross and stuff. So, yeah, shout out Seidel, and I'm glad he's better and whatnot. Speaking of doing good, Sierra did the coin toss for USA versus Australia in the brain dead Adidas Brody King collab. Shoes or boots or whatever. So that's fucking awesome. Now it's funny that they're wrestling boots. It's cool as shit that whatever stylist, pardon me, bitch, I'm stylish. Black t-shirt, Billie Eilish. No, whoever her stylist is that picked those out, good on them, because that's actually like a drippy fucking fit. And they are Adidas, and obviously she's got an Adidas top, so they're sponsoring the thing or whatever. They're responsible for the jerseys and shit. And shout out Brody King. That's actually really cool that he's able to pull that off with no like WWE machine behind him, Speaking of people who want to get the machine behind them, AIR Gold posts this. Tensions are clearly brewing in AEW right now with a lot of people not being booked how they should be. And so Athena is ROH and All Elite says, honestly, I feel some type of way about stuff right now. Maybe I'll explain one day, but for now, vague post. And then Swerve Strickland responds to the Drain Maker, who says, MJF says he has respect for everyone in the AEW locker room right now. This is the most harmonious my locker room's ever been. Do I think it's perfect? Whatever MJF was saying. MJF was coping some more in some interviews. I didn't bookmark any of it. Are we really going to go do that again? Are we really going to talk about that again? I don't need to talk about this cope anymore. It's been all fucking 2026. Just a year-long cope session for him and Ospreay. But Swerve Strickland says cap. Now, if it was anyone other than Swerve, I'd go, oh, they're just kind of working MJF. But Swerve also was talking about, I'm not on TV. And then he cut this promo saying, I haven't been here for 6 weeks because blah, blah, blah. And even Dave and Brian were like, what is he talking about? Like, what is Swerve on about? So if it was anybody other than Swerve who's been a little bit vocal, I'd be like, nah, he's probably not. He's probably just like shitting on MJF the way, like fucking Jade and Rhea or Bailey and whoever will go back and forth on Twitter and shit. But I don't know. With him putting the cap, it just seems like maybe things aren't too pleasant, and maybe Swerve thought he would get pushed as a champ again. Like, I'm sorry to break it to Swerve, but he was only ever slid into that position of world champ for a little bit and it was always going to be a one and done. And I always said Tone wouldn't have even done that shit if the IWC didn't like force his hand. And that's why Dave Meltzer does all this projecting onto WWE. Like, boy, have you ever seen anyone listen to social media more than these guys right now? It's because he knows how much Tone listens to social media. Like, Tone claims he changed theme music because he responded to 220 follower marks. Tone has asked Dave to unblock sickos that everybody has blocked that are fucking these guys that are banned off Dave's message boards and shit publicly. Like, that's how responding to social media Tone is. He's fucking Ron, allegedly. I mean, dude, that's how much Tone is into social media, allegedly, right? This
allegedly.
Is all made up. But this wouldn't be the first time we've seen wrestlers take to social media. And we don't know if Athena is talking even about AEW, but I bet you it has something to do with that. Like, when is going to be her goddamn time? And it might be past her time. And what kind of respect does she get being in ROH, going on the type of run she's on? And who knows? Maybe completely has nothing to do with pro wrestling. But what else could it be? What else would she vague post about? Like, who cares, right? And Jobber Nation says, maybe it's me, but I don't think it's a coincidence that black talent in AEW isn't happy with their booking. And there you go. That's what made Tone put the title on Swerve. Like, a bunch of people came out and were like, you've had no black champions, or, look at Swerve, look at these. Why didn't you pull the trigger on the Acclaimed or whatever. And they did go with Swerve and Keith Lee, but people were like, I don't know. It just felt very like Tone had no plan for Swerve. It was one of the worst book title fucking reigns, and who knows if he'll ever get back to the strap again. And that was a criticism that Alfred Kunawa levied towards them, and that's when Tone just went from quoting him in AEW commercials to flipping on him and banning them from their media, from his ability to get their media for Forbes articles and stuff like that. Like, had to change the whole password and shit. You know? Speaking of drama in AEW and talent who need to take care of themselves a little bit and need to be looking out for themselves while in AEW, because Tone certainly ain't. Jim Ross hospitalized again after another scary fall. Now, I've said this a billion times. Everybody, spirit bomb, stick your hands up in the air and spirit bomb energy toss good energies over to good old Jim Ross. Here's the thing, okay? He needs to get paid to stay home. Just pay him to stay the fuck home. And I get it. He's falling at his house even. Tone, you have all this money. Convince this man. Pay 24-hour, round-the-clock, the hottest nurses you can find to just take care of him at home. And if you need him to do any voice work, you set up a little green screen area. You send some expensive equipment over. He puts on a suit. Someone's just got to pay him to not go anywhere. Okay? Because this is crazy. This is like every time he goes to an AEW show, he has a fall. And at his house now, he said it on the his show, Grilling with JR. He's like, my phone fell and I couldn't reach it. And he's just like, maybe whatever it was, I need an alarm. He said something. I'll attach it to my wrist or whatever he's got to do. I'll keep it in my pocket or whatever. And I hope he's well. And I swear to God, if I see him get paraded out there in front of a Jon Moxley fucking match, I'm gonna lose my shit. Speaking of losing their shit, wrestlers go to AEW and they get goofy, and something in the water just makes them goofy. They start saying dumb shit. They start stooging too much. They start coping real hard over WWE. And again, there's something in the pipelines in AEW. I don't know what it is. People start melting down about shit online. Or even like your CM Punk, you start slapping Young Bucks out and you got to get out and go, and you realize, holy fuck, I need to be in the Fed. Right. And you have guys like Cody Rhodes, the same thing, just realizing, holy shit, I built this whole thing and I got to I need to get out of here. And whatever, you start melting down. I don't know. Paul Walter Hauser goes there for a cup of coffee. He's all kooky and crazy. And so Will Ospreay, who's already taken backlash because of the speaking out stuff, you know, because he's bruvs with a bunch of bruvs, I guess, who have been, or at least a few of them who were, you know, called out during the speaking out stuff and whatever. Ospreay sort of got out of that with nothing on him, which is what it is, you know, but people are bringing shit like that back up now because of the comments he made in his promo on Dynamite, where he's talking about smashing some lass or whatever, and he doesn't even name his wife. And it's just silly because, well, let's read what Alfred Kunawa says. He says, it's one thing if Will Ospreay was talking about a random hoe he smashed, but not only was this his wife, she's an AEW wrestler. He didn't even say her name. If Trick did this to Lash, it's Divorce City. No black woman I've ever known would let a ninja do her like that. Happy Juneteenth. And it's true. It's like, if we're to believe like all is equal, then just say you're banging your wife or whatever. But the way he worded it, it's cringy. And then some people are taking the route of like, well, he doesn't respect his woman and shit. Now, I hold the same position always when it gets into people's personal relationships. Like, we don't know. We don't know what they're like behind closed doors. Did she get a job there because she's Will Ospreay's wife? Yes. is she that bad? No, the Brawling Birds are pretty cool together. Alex Windsor's actually pretty dope. She's pretty good, but Will Ospreay, he's just a cringe lord. And even people who are like big Nuge fans, I saw like some AEW sicko-y types, maybe you'd label them on the surface level, but definitely some Nuge fans have come out and been like, the worst part. I saw a tweet where someone was like, and it got thousands of likes, and the guy was like, the worst part about Will Ospreay being pushed in America is that people would find out he was a piece of shit in America or something like that. I butchered what the guy's tweet was, but I don't know. I guess and that got thousands of likes. And I'm not saying things that get thousands of likes are always intelligent or smart, but it's telling when like New Japan fans are coming out saying shit like that and agreeing and being like, yeah, fuck this guy. So also he just had a cry about New Japan and Yotatsuji, which we broke down on the last show, Time Cop. But let's take a look here at Alfred Kunawa's video. Actually, first, this is what he said that really got everybody dragging him too, because after the Windsor comment. So let's see. What did
And here you are here. The wedding was lovely. Thank you so much. I do know I'm meant to be on a honeymoon. Look, I'm meant to be on a honeymoon, but the wife said, thank you, mate. The wife said she knows how much this tournament means to me. She said, stay focused. We can go Hawaii whenever you want. Go chase your dream. I took her upstairs. I smashed the life out of her, bruv. I said, babe, clean yourself up. I gotta go Houston.
It's just like, I don't know. It's middle schooler shit, I smashed her. We have sex. Hey, guys, I have sex. Do you guys have sex? I have sex, bruv. For the first time, bruv. It just feels very much like that. I don't know. And clean yourself up. And this is the where's Hangman crying about this? I view women as equals. We should just call it the championship. Where's Hangman having a cry about this, So this lady here, Catherine, posts, much like when MJF does it, I'm sure Alex is absolutely fine with what he said, and I'm sure she is, right? However, also like when MJF does it, what a gross way to talk about the love of your life, straight up dehumanizing and misogynistic language, yuck. Now, here's the thing. It's not dehumanizing because humans fuck. Okay, and it's not misogynistic because he's literally expressing, I smashed me wife and was like, clean yourself up. Then I threw a burger down her throat. I said, hey, hit the bricks, bitch. Oh, go, 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 go. The Hawk Tui Gale. It's not misogynistic because he's not expressing hate towards women, right? So people just use these buzzwords. But then Will Ospreay, this is the problem. So someone says some shit like this, and then Ospreay goes, touch grass, Catherine. Like tells her to go touch grass. Again, like a middle schooler. It's more, I don't know. Touch grass is more like a boomer thing. That's what that like good mic work guy would say. Oh, go touch grass. Oh. But it's just like touch grass, Catherine. And like, why do you even need to respond? Why do you need to respond? And what's it with you? Just like, I don't know, man. I've said shit to Will Ospreay. I don't get no fucking response, But this chick says something and you're going to chap her. So this guy's like, you are an uneducated cockney fuck. You are, I'm sorry if cock, is that politically correct? I apologize. This is a quote, guys. I didn't say, don't clip that. Whoa. You are the most overrated wrestler on the planet. You could never hang with Steamboat, Angle, Eddie, or, okay, whatever. This guy's just hating. The day you leave wrestling will be a good day. Like people are just pissed at him. There's no place for misogyny and SAs for those who defend them. Well, okay. I don't, whatever. If people interpret it, maybe if people are interpreting like him defending people who were accused of shit and then his language and they're going, that is misogyny. Oh, okay, maybe. Right? I'm not following at all. I don't know. I need more evidence. The problem is there are children who look up to you who are learning. This is the problem. Yeah, it's like the Rizzler is on this show and you guys are like, it's for kids. You spent the whole start of the year going, no, it's for families. We have family pricing. Cash Monet's been a member for 18 goddamn months. Had 2 babies. Ooh, I'm gonna keep my baby. Ooh. Thank you so much for your membership. We acknowledge you here.
Acknowledge me.
So yeah, if that's how Alex and you like to speak with each other, that's obviously fine. But think about I just think it's more what Alfred said too. You didn't even go like, me wife, bruv, Alex wins a bruv. And then, yeah, this guy, like all these people getting worked in the comments need to touch grass. It's like, okay, robot, fucking everything for yourself, bud. Come on, no need to lash out. That's just it. It's just the AEW wrestlers. You guys lash out at fans. You get all defensive over some shit. Like, don't even respond to this. Just go, okay. Then you lash out at fucking fans, and then it's just cringe. Always. Yeah, I don't know. So he got dragged for that shit. Let's take a look at Alfred Kanua's video here. And shout out Pro Wrestling Bits.
Will Ospreay just got married, or as he describes it,
I smashed the life out of her, bruv. I said, babe, clean yourself up. I gotta go Houston.
Twitter clutched its pearls over this line, and while I do appreciate a good joke more than most, that's not what this was. Even in front of a quiet crowd of 2,000 misogynistic sickos, this line was met with polite
okay, Alfred.
Nobody.
Oh, come on, bro. But it is, I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of white knighting going on in the AEW sphere of fans, right? A lot of people are like, they're woke pussies and stuff, right? I just say, look, there's a lot of white knighting that goes on over there, and those are always the people you got to look out for. Like, the biggest male feminist is always a fucking weirdo doing some weirdo shit, you know? Doing some creepy, some fuckboy shit, you know?
Will Ospreay is a top babyface. He's supposed to be AEW's next great white hope. He's going to win the world title in his hometown come August. Unfortunately, in his latest promo, he was dressed like a ball boy for the English national soccer team, despite talking like a fuckboy from South Beach, Miami.
Exactly, some fuckboy shit.
It's one thing if babyface Will was talking about some random hoe he knocked off, which would still be wild on TBS television, but he's married to Alex Windsor, a wrestler and one of AEW's 207 champions who appears on their TV most weeks. She's one half of an amazing tag team in the Brawling Birds. But
yeah, it's the same. It's like, yeah, and I dogged her out, bro. Like, it's like talking like that because they think that's what's cool because Will Ospreay doesn't know how to get over guys. He has no character. There's no personality. Okay. And there, you know, he's super rich, so he doesn't need to get one anymore. Right? There's nothing else to achieve. Cheat code unlocked. GTA 6 comes out. Will Ospreay's punching the cheats in. There ain't shit else to learn or do. You got all the money. You got the penthouse. Like, it doesn't matter. He doesn't need to get over. He just made all this money by not having to figure out, like, because in Japan, it's way different, bruv. It's mostly in ring. And when you're a foreigner, let's say, like a Will Ospreay, you know, you kind of cut these slow, like what Kenny Omega does, right? Like when you're a gaijin and you come in, you get to just be like, and kiss, bang, I will see you, Naito-san, next time. And then the guy goes, oh, really? You know, and he does he says it on the microphone, and then everybody pops, they clap or whatever. You have a translator, whatever the fuck it is. So it's not the same thing as like getting over for your personality and like saying cool shit and cutting memorable promos and he gets passionate, he gets impassioned, but it's a lot of like him just doing it's like the 80s wrestler thing where it's like, well, let me tell you something, brother. Ospreay's just like, and I was smashing her, bruv. Yeah. And then the crowd cheers and then he just kind of goes back into, and the only time you can get him worked up is like he's either talking about WWE or he's just saying some cringe ass shit. And I don't know, man. This is why he defaults to that. And a lot of guys in AEW have defaulted to that.
Amazing tag team in the Brawling Birds, but he didn't even dignify her by saying her name. Will Ospreay was teaching you how to talk about his wife, and according to that promo,
Yeah, that's just it, dude. Like, there's no, like, I would never talk about my wife that way. I'm not trying to like, oh, you whatever. You're doing a character on a show. I'm not triggered, but like, if you talk about your wife that way, imagine how people will talk about your wife. Right? Save the family, Will. It's an old saying. I don't know. You guys say you need to save the family.
She ain't Imagine if Trick Williams...
That's pretty much what it is. She ain't shit. You know? Clean up, bitch. I'm at it. Throw a burger down a throat. Like, fuck, man.
Talked about his honeymoon with Lash Legend like that. That divorce would go crazy because no black woman I've ever known would let a nigga do her like that. But to each their own. So congratulations to Will Ospreay and whatever nameless, faceless thought that he smashed on his wedding night, bro. She's probably cleaning herself off right now because...
Shout out Alfred Kanoa. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Ichi Nissan Da all together. For AEW news, that was AEW. Tone. And Tone didn't go live. I mean, sometimes he does while we're on the air. I checked before we went on the air, as I do, and he was not live, and he did not go live tonight, unfortunately. But all good. Let's get into some WWE news. Let's get into some WWE news, motherfuckers. And again, we don't have too terribly much. Guys, hit like, all of that good stuff. And if you guys super chat in, if we get to 10 super chats, we will also do a sicko segment tonight. I put together a good little segment for us. And yeah, check out patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times. Just typical British talk. Today's my cousin auntie birthday. Happy birthdays. Otis is more true legit, having dyslexia at this point. Lysdexia, yeah. Okay. All right, guys, let's get into, we have some Worldwide Wrestling Federation news to get into, obviously, and then we're going to do TNA news. So TNA is the main event of the news-wise, of the news folders. And Phil Marks, bookmarks. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to go. Sending love from New Zealand. Love all your work. Thank you so much, John Walsh. And yes, appreciate all of you guys so much. Okay, so let's get into WWE news here. WWE said that they would be open to doing a show at the White House if the financials made sense. Now, I don't think it would make much sense. They almost should have. They had a WWE ring set up there to promote during the UFC Freedom 250 stuff. I would love to see it. They should do a Great American Bash there. They should have did it all on the same weekend and did NXT Great American Bash. But obviously, if it's the White House and they make a big deal, they might want to use guys like Roman and shit. But I just don't know if WWE, it might be a simpler operation and not as intense as the UFC one was, which I thought was magnificent. And I want to see WWE here. I want to see them in the Sphere. And UFC's talking about doing the Roman Coliseum now, apparently. And I would want to see WWE go there too. Fuck it. TKO's got all the billions and millions. That's fan service. I don't give a shit. These cool backdrops and like wrestling at the Sphere would be so fucking cool. You know, it was what it was with UFC, but I mean, WWE, that's the name of their game, is like the video packages, the Trons, the fucking spectacle, the sports and entertainment. So imagine the stuff they would do in the Sphere visually, WWE. That would be cool, but it just costs a shitload of money that TKO definitely has, regardless of what their fucking debt spreadsheets say and people want to cope about, right? Speaking of business moves, okay, there were reportedly logistical issues and production-related issues surrounding the September 4 WWE SmackDown taping, which has been canceled. So people were like, oh my God, SmackDown was canceled. What are they going to do? But pretty much it was like a building issue, and they are just going to tape it elsewhere. And there will reportedly still be a TV episode airing that night. However, plans from when and where it will be taped have not been finalized. I'm not surprised by that, all things considered. You know, it's a last-minute change around, and who knows what type of pyro. I don't know. Is that a tease to where fucking something might... They have some pyro set up that won't, you know, someone's returning or something. I don't know. Possibly the potential's there, but it also might just be they just looked at it and went, I don't know. This is too many seats. We'll go to a smaller place, or we need a bigger place. And then they just chalk it up to being a quote unquote logistical issue. Do you know what I'm saying? So WWE have come to an agreement with the O2 Arena and FIFA to show England's World Cup game with Ghana inside the O2 after the SmackDown taping on Tuesday. So we are going to also talk about SmackDown a little bit, what went down last night, Time Cop. But we'll do that in a second because we're talking business moves here in WWE, right? And so WWE has recently filed trademarks for the following names: Vanta the Unknown, Kylie Quinn, and Milos Jovic. Mila Jovovich, you mean? Milos Jovic. So who knows who that is? That could be Masha Slamovich, for all we know. No, I don't know why I would think that. But Kylie Quinn, which who knows, very generic, silly name. Vanta the Unknown, right? And this is some crazy ass name, and a bunch of people thought it would belong to this gal right here. Gal. She's a gal. Vanta the Unknown is the new official ring name for Jessica Bogdanov. Okay, and she comes out here with this Terminator type alien sci-fi movie. This is straight out of some sci-fi shit that I would watch growing up in the 90s, early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s. This is some sci-fi shit right here. I love this look. And it's official. This is her name. And they called her like, she was a nameless wrestler on a house show at an NXT live event. And then she's doing this little thing right here. And I think I played it on the show before, but people are now it's on NXT TV. 7.2K likes, 1.2 million views. And this motherfucker's like, I've never seen anything like this before. This is some Terminator type shit. This some fucking about to fight a xenomorph shit, or, you know, I don't even, yeah, it's just some sci-fi action right there. And I love it. I love that little wheel kick. Hopefully her fucking storyline and moves. We're itching for a gimmick like this. Again, I said The Undertaker is one of the all-time gimmicks, obviously. We talked about Leo Rush on this show earlier and his Blackheart gimmick and how I enjoy that. The Demon, people pop for the Demon. I'm not saying it's got to be like a spooky, weird gimmick, but that's why this works. It's like some weird alien, robot, Terminator type shit. And we need more of this, and they have the potential with this gimmick to do some really cool shit when it's time to call her up to the main roster. And you don't need to have her interacting with other girls in tag teams because that's my best friend and now you're my friend and whatever. You could tell some real cool science fiction-y shit with her. Who knows? Who knows how far you can take it? And is it the next Undertaker? I don't know. Obviously, when people saw The Undertaker, they didn't think it would be The Undertaker, wouldn't become what it was. Right? So maybe this becomes the next big gimmick in fucking women's wrestling, but we haven't really, I can't really think of anyone like who since maybe Awesome Kong, but even her, she broke down crying in the middle of the ring. Like we need a women's Undertaker, like a women's Like, I guess Rosemary does shit like that, but in WWE, we need a gimmick like this for a woman. This could separate her from the pack. I love it. I love the look. I love that she does the little Terminator thing. And, yeah, more of that, please and thank you. So, speaking of talent and talented female wrestlers and individuals and just some thises and that's in the world of WWE, Alexa Bliss shot a basketball while doing a flip and scored 15 points for Team WWE on Squad Games. I don't even know what the fuck Squad Games is, but here's
Fired up.
So shout out Squad Game. I don't even know what that is, but I want to watch it. Miz was getting me hype there. I thought he could only say catchphrases. What's going on? It's supposed to be real.
Come on now, Eric.
So we move along here, and speaking of real, MMA is as real as it gets, and CM Punk will return to MMA commentary on June 26th, I'm assuming for, what is it, CFFC, or whatever he does commentating for. And speaking of possible returns, Kevin Owens gives his thoughts on, well, he could return, and he gives his thoughts on former UFC fighter Matt Riddle, who was kind of burying him. Shout out Robbie Fox and Barstool. Shout you out, bud. See how I do that?
Another thing I haven't seen you address.
We're fucking crying. Who got you this one, huh? TKO? Who did Dana? Did Uncle Dana get you this one, Robbie?
Don't have to talk about this if you don't want to. Accusation that you and Sammy are hard to work with. I saw this from an interview that Matt Riddle did recently. I was curious if you saw it or if it took you by surprise at all.
No, it didn't take me by surprise, but I did see it. It's funny, you know, because coming from him, I have nothing against him at all. But, you know, he's to me, he's a guy who had really amazing opportunities handed to him, like being Randy's tag team partner for so long and basically getting to ride the coattails of a legend. And he managed to screw it all up, not because of his abilities, because he's very talented and very athletic, but because of his own attitude and poor choices, you know? So, you know, for him to say that we're hard to work with or whatever it is, and he couldn't get a word in, there was a pretty good reason for that, you know? Like, you look at his track record and you look at our track record, I think, you know, that speaks for itself. But if that's how he felt, you know, it's fine. I can't say he's wrong. When he said like it was hard to get a word in, probably was, because we probably didn't let him get a word in too much just because, you know, we've been around him and we work a certain way and it works. So, yeah.
There we go. Shout out Barstool. So speaking of what works and doesn't work, dude, SmackDown went down, and here's the takeaways, okay? Just a quick SmackDown review. I'm not going over the whole thing, just these key things that happen. So the evening kicks off, and shout out WWE, USA, TKO. You guys are so gracious. But SmackDown goes down, and the WWE Championship kicks off the show. And I'm going, what the hell, right? And also shout out Ricky Saints. He got a win, and he's getting a shot at the U.S. title. But, like, come on, we've seen that coming a mile away. Either way. Also, Liv Morgan is the finalist in the King of the Ring, but people hated the Queen of the Ring, but people hated something else way worse than that. So shout her out, but that's ass in my mind too. So I was convinced this was going to be the main event. My wife was like, why isn't this the main event? You know, I was all ready to fucking watch SmackDown, and I was like, this main event's going to be crazy. It kicked off the show, Gunther versus Rhodes. And Sami Zayn's the guest ref, and I was fucking certain they were going to switch the belt here. Try and pop a rating after all the playoffs are over and shit, right? And these guys go out here, and they have an okay match. Kind of, I don't know, something almost like felt off with these two. Like they were going, but they just weren't. It just seemed very do this and then do this and then do this and then do this. And you know why? Because it was just a very schmozzy thing they had in mind. Like they were just gearing up to do a bunch of schmozzy shit. Okay. And these guys, like, I mean, they know how to work, obviously. and the crowd was behind it. And
Gunther trying to keep his balance and does hold on to that top rope. Meanwhile, Sami Zayn's back in there.
I don't know. Sami just got super involved. He did a quick count, and this came after a bunch of shenanigans, obviously, where the guest refs involved, and they just went to it so quickly where it's like, oh, you do what I tell you, and did it. And I don't know, man, just something about this match I didn't like. And it's more than just how all of this other stuff played out, you know? So whatever. Someone gets shoved into Sami. He's mad, and then he's fucking... Whatever happens, he's outside the ring. Someone fucking slaps him. I think Gunther pushes him. Gunther powerbombs Sami at one point. Then a whole other ref comes in the ring, and then Sami pulls the ref out, and then fucking Sami gets back in the ring. He's all angry. He does the quick count, 1, 2, 3. Right, so it was a bunch of bullshit. We knew that was going to happen. A lot of people thought Sami was going to fuck Rhodes out of the title, but clearly at Night of Champions, they're doing the triple threat, and they want Sami in a prominent position. And also, this affects the Jey Uso stuff. The Saudis love Jey Uso, so I know everybody fucking crying, and they want to sit there and pretend like they're the center of the fucking universe, like Paul Walter Hauser, where he's like, it's gross that WWE's going to another country. What, so those fans are gross? Like, you know what I mean? Most people can't go to most people, when you're talking about Americans, Paul Walter Hauser, can't go to the Wembley show either. So is it gross that AEW's doing a show there, or WWE does shows out there? Like, what the fuck are you even trying to say? There's fans in Saudi, okay? They're not just like these plebeians don't even understand sports entertainment, right? Like, yes, the crowds were shit and they needed to be educated in the beginning. And now we're at a point where everything's all good. And I actually heard an allegedly, I'll just throw it out there again. I'm not a dirt sheet. Nobody quotes me.
Allegedly.
So it don't matter anyway. But Rhea, like, her whole injury thing is just her, like, not wanting to travel and stuff like that. Not wanting to travel, but not wanting to go to Saudi. You know, she may... You know, just some people, they don't want to do that shit. Maybe that's false. I don't know. Again, these are just rumors that people throw around. And that's why I don't go, I'm reporting. Sources claimed that, because it's fucking cringe to do that, because it's all just rumors and it's all scripted. So we could all just be being worked, right? But there's rumors. I've heard motherfuckers saying things like that, okay? And who knows? Who knows about all that? But the point I'm making is some people, they don't care about. Some people want to go for the check. Some people don't want to go for personal beliefs and reasons. Motherfuckers like Sami and Jey Uso are in high demand over there, okay? So you need Sami in the title match. You need Jey Uso in a fucking marquee match. It's just really boils down to that. And it's not about keeping the Saudi investors happy. That's like saying, you know, okay, Tony Khan, I guess let's do what about us the AEW. They go to Cincinnati, Mox's hometown. They do 1,200 fucking people there. Would it be fan service to not have him on that fucking show? Like, isn't that Tone attempting to do his idea of fan service? Nobody cries about that other than me, because it only draws their 1,200 fucking people in his hometown. So it's about, yes, keeping the area happy. Like, those fans want to see what those fans want to see. Just like if you come up to fucking Canada, buddy, we want to see Canadian wrestlers. We do, you know. We're not going to treat every single one guy as like a hometown hero necessarily, but you know, we're going to fucking stand up and pop for Natty Neidhart and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's fucking respect. So the point I'm getting at here, Sami needs to be in a triple threat, whatever. It makes sense that, I guess, that it didn't really matter who won the title, because they could still do the triple threat, right? It makes sense. That was always the next step. Again, the way they got here with the other ref coming out, and then, you know, the 2 count, whatever, and then Sami pulls the ref out, and it's like, someone's going to call a DQ. Someone's got to throw this shit out, and especially with what happens after. So anyways, this pin goes down. Gunther can't believe it. Sami's like, fuck you, whatever. I think they go to commercial break, and then they come back, or in some sequence, but everybody's arguing backstage. I fucking hated this. These two should have people between them pulling them apart. Oh God, I fucking hated this right here. I'm so sorry. So here, let's skim through this. They're arguing, and I'm like, there needs to be people between them. Gunther should want to rip this fucking ref's head off. Even though this ref, I guess, would have counted it for Gunther because Sammy pulled that ref out of the ring, like kind of fucking Gunther over there or whatever. So Rhodes storms out. I like this part. I like how Rhodes storms out and he goes to the ring because, like, that's what the champion would do. Fuck this. I'm just taking, I'm going to get on the mic and go, you guys want to, let's run it back. That's what he should do. Right? So we skim through this and then watch what Gunther does. Watch what Gunther does while Rhodes is in the ring. So there, he's arguing with Sammy again. He should just want to rip Sammy's head off. Rip, dude. And that's why I ripped your leg from your leg, Brad. He should want to rip his head off already. It shouldn't come to this, okay?
No, absolutely not. I'm the official.
So look, he just like Big Brother ripped him on the table.
All right.
Everyone's standing around. Hey, what are you doing? Aldis should be in between there. Motherfuckers, Gunther, we will put an end to this now. Like, I won't even listen to you if you don't fucking stop right now. This is too much. Let me figure this out. Right? Like, he's just standing there. Whoa, why are you guys fighting, man? That's how it felt. I'm sitting here going, what is this? Okay? And so Gunther then comes out. They start brawling. And then after Gunther attacks Sammy, like, I get it too. Like, Gunther attacks Sammy, and then Aldis goes, okay, you're right. Go out there with this other ref and go and what? Dude, he just attacked the guy who, whatever, was supposed to be the official, and it's another guy. You just attacked him right in front of you. You're doing dick all. Like, that should make Aldis go, no, there's no match. You just attacked him. I can't. Let me figure this out. Or maybe if Gunther grabbed Sammy or they're like about to throw down, or like Sammy and him start throwing blows, like they're like hockey fighting, Aldis immediately gets in between them and is like, all right, we'll restart the match, but you stay back here. Like, to Sammy, you keep your ass back here. And then when Sammy runs out again, it seems even more defiant and out of control. But for whatever reason, they're just like all standing around and this shit's going on. Maybe I'm being too critical of this. I was just like, what the hell? What is this? And then Gunther runs out. They start fighting. Match gets restarted. And then that's when Sammy comes out. Haluva kick. He beats up both guys. DQ. I'm pretty sure gets thrown out. Nobody runs out to stop Sammy. Now, Sammy was doing some great heel stuff. Like, he was just his acting. He's tremendous. I think he could act in a movie or something like that, for real. I think he could actually do some really good stuff. Playing like somewhat of a crazy guy. He could play like or like a homeless guy or something that gets pops, but also has like depth to the character dramatically and stuff. He was just losing his shit. He's pulling his hair out. The fucking audience too, like on his way up the ramp, some guy had a Sammy sucks sign, and this dude like ran up to get in Sammy's grill again, and Sammy got right in this guy's face, and he like flinched on Sammy, and Sammy ripped his sign, got in his face, and the dude like flinched, and you could tell. And then he hit him with the Scott Hall. Ooh, like, I'm scared. What are you gonna do? And Sammy was like, you can go back and watch, and he's like, you fucking bitch, you little bitch, And Sammy was snapping and shit. So he was doing great work, but at the same time, like, nobody ran out there. Like, Aldis was just in Gorilla. He didn't run out to go, no, you guys, I'm gonna pull my hair. Like, what are you, Sammy? You're fucking, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. It just, it felt inconsistent. It felt like you could have got more heat on shit. It was obviously, it didn't feel, it just was super schmozzy to keep this belt on Rhodes, which is fine. I mean, fuck. And a lot of people are like, Rhodes doesn't get any clean wins, because Rhodes did get the pin. Whatever happened, like Sammy hit a haluva, Rhodes hits the pin. I'm wrong on the DQ. Maybe it didn't get thrown out, but whatever. It was just super schmozzy. And that's the point with Rhodes, though. Like, you're fucking mad at the way he's getting DQ wins. He's fucking one of the only guys to beat Gunther. He beats Brock by Brock's head going into the fucking buckle. He gets these dirty wins. He hits the crossroads on the chair. Fucking some haluva kick. Rhodes gets the pin, and then he goes, "Oh, not like this." Yeah, that not like this. Seen it before, but I have seen it this bad. Right? So Rhodes is like consistent in that because he's always been, it's not even like a change of, really think about even how he debuted in WWE. It's not even a change of his antics. He showed up, got one up on Seth Rollins, a guy who's been there forever. Like he just slimed him, in his debut from AEW with his own music, his own gimmick. Right. So Rhodes he's been sliming the whole WWE roster this whole time. And you're going to see like when that happens, it's going to be magical when he heals up and he's going to look back and someone's going to point out like all of your wins were bullshit, So that's consistent. I'm good with that. They're just like racking those up. With Gunther, though, like now he's kind of getting some losses racked up on him a little bit. Like, okay, Rhodes beat you before. He doesn't need to beat you like all these times. And, Gunther's losses mean something, which is a good thing. Because we talk about like, fuck, Rhodes beat him. Gunther's 0-2 or whatever against Rhodes, I'm pretty sure, technically on a technicality, right? But this was just too schmozzy and inconsistent in like how the GMs react, when the security's coming out, when the agents come out, the magnitude of putting this match on first, the magnitude of the WWE title, the drama that it's actually causing backstage. Instead, Nick Aldis is just like, with Drew McIntyre, that got so crazy, but he was like, all right, Drew, you call the shots and whatever. And then now Gunther's putting him in the same position and he's just like, all right, Gunther, you just beat the shit out of Sammy right in front of my face, even though he's in an official capacity, which should be a no, that should be a fine, suspension, whatever. And instead I don't know. So that's maybe that's nitpick. I don't know, this opening shit. I was like, what the fuck? C- for me, and did this pop a rating? I don't fucking know. If it did, I don't know if changing the title would have either. I'm not saying one or the other's better, but again, I understand it because they need to get Zayn in this triple threat for Night of Champions, and then obviously if the title flips, it'll be at SummerSlam from Rhodes, right? Because he can afford to, again, lose it at SummerSlam, win it back at whatever the fuck. Rhodes can win and lose the belt a bunch of times. It really makes no difference for him either, but he needs to be in and around the title. Maybe at SummerSlam it switches. I doubt at Night of Champions it switches. And also Sammy's like the ultimate good guy, and he's got such good heat in America, but then he's going to go to Saudi and they're going to fucking love him. So it is what it is. Different parts of the world, people like different wrestlers and stuff more, regardless of storyline. Look at El Grande. But they might fuck around and do some Sammy leaves with it, and then he just drops it right away at SummerSlam, but he just always is able to say, I did it or whatever, but maybe that's too feel good for a heel of his magnitude right now. But could you not see them maybe flipping it up? Johnny Chevron, has been a member for 11 goddamn months. Spectacular. Had a baby. Fucking amazing. So let me know what you guys thought about it in chat. Nitpicky. The ref decision is final. They had, unless the ref is called Sami Zayn. That's exactly what I'm saying, I usually have the shows on the background, but this segment was better than most things we see. Too critical and nitpicky. Okay. By the way, the gorilla position area being neon blue must have been annoying as hell to do your job. No, it's a vibe for sure when you're back there staring at the monitors the whole time. I dig it. That's why you see all like the gamers on Twitch. Fight Owens fight. Sammy's going to be babyface in Saudi. Exactly. So, okay. Yeah. So it seems like we're kind of split, but 60-40, 70-30. So I guess not so much split, but I think most of you are like, nah, you're being too harsh on this. So I don't know. My opinion's my opinion. It fucking stands. It wasn't the goddamn worst thing ever. Just did something feel off with the match too, or is that just me? I just felt like they were waiting to get to the schmoz moments, which is fine. Your timing's got to be on point. But like Rhodes and Gunther can wrestle their asses off, and maybe we see that match that I thought I just got myself too hyped for this. I was like, it maybe also was me in my own mind being too hyped for this. I was like, it's going to be the main event. The playoffs are all done. So and they said commercial free, bitch. We're getting this is going to be some Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, 60-minute Iron Man match, SmackDown shit. Like that's what I was thinking. So maybe your boy Phil just got too excited for this. And then the way it played out, I was like, oh, what a bummer. And maybe we'll just get Rhodes, Gunther at SummerSlam. Again, I'm not even like, they need to switch the title. It's not even that for me. It's just like, what the fuck? Felt a little robbed. So I'm being harsh. Chat has deemed me being too harsh on this segment. And that's fine. But I will say this, though. I was gripped into like the whole thing. Like I couldn't look away. And that's the point, right? Like I couldn't look away from the chaos and the carnage, and then what else? So we talked about that. And then we talked about a little bit about Morgan. I might have said Bliss earlier by accident, but Morgan, we talked about Danhausen. Did we talk about Danhausen? So he like zapped Matt Cardona once, and then Matt Cardona was like, it or whatever. And Miz and Kit are already like brain rotted Hausen, so they're just saying their old fucking catchphrase. So I don't know. Cardona will get involved in that, and he ran off Los Garzas, who were like, "Hey, we bet on who you told us to bet on, or whatever the fuck, and we lost money. Pay us back." And then Cardona's like, "Get out of here." So we're gonna see Cardona team up with Danhausen against Los Garzas, right? More, and I would like to see Danhausen get a consistent partner to where maybe a run at the tag belts, right? Like Truth and Priest have him right now. I could see it, Danhausen as a tag champ, and maybe it's whoever his Megahausen is or whatever comes out from under those sheets or whatever. But one guy who won and that everybody's talking about, let me hear you say yeet for your boy Jey Uso. Okay? And people are mad at this guy like he's just not able to even win any matches anymore. Or else people bury him and shit on him. And the fans online, I'm starting to think it's more of like YouTube fans. Like maybe it's all the people in like India or something fucking hate him, right? And I'm not saying that as like a bot farm thing. I'm saying like what part of the world that has a lot of people that watch WWE on YouTube that fucking don't like Jey Uso this much. Like it's got to be something. Like who does? Is it just bot farms coming? I don't think it's that. And maybe it is just pure diehard WWE fans from all over the world going, nope, this ain't it. But then you guys aren't going to the venues. And if you are, you're lying. You're fucking yeeting your ass off while, you know what I mean? So who's like hating on this so hard? I really don't even understand. So Jey Uso advanced to the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. And people are like, yo, he had a banger against Javon. And a lot of people were hating on the fact they didn't run Javon versus Oba. I don't know. I think Jey Uso could win King of the Ring. And I think Oba, a lot of people are like, Brock's going to show up and fuck Oba out of King of the Ring. That could absolutely happen. That's the safe bet. That's the safe money. Check your poly market for that, because that's probably what's going to happen. But they might not even do that. The Saudis will go nutty for fucking Brock, and he'll take the payday, especially if it's like not even to have a match. I just get to run out and beat the shit out of Oba all over the fucking ringside area or whatever. But at the same time, it could be something else. I just don't know if putting Jey Uso over Oba is the way to go. The problem with Oba right now is, okay, you put the title on him. You run the risk of Goldberging him. you know, Bronson Reed's gone besides him. And I guess maybe like a Jacob Fatu, but like you don't want to be beating Jacob Fatu. You have Brock and who's fighting Oba. Who does Oba fight? Like who can keep him away from the title? Like I don't want to see him going 50-50 with like Chad Gable or fucking Penta or fucking maybe Miro can hold him off a little bit with his martial arts. I'm a big bad guy type. Maybe that's a match for him. Whatever. I think he already squashed Miro though. Rusev. I think he already squashed him on Rusev Day, no less. Who do you have besides Brock that can like fend off Femi without like giving him a bunch of losses? And we know Femi can lose and it doesn't like ruin his shit. People have beat him in NXT, but right now you want him to keep winning. You can't have anyone beat him yet, but who can he beat and fight that's believable the way they've been building him besides Brock? Like once that match happens at SummerSlam, that's done. And then what does Oba do? Like a Roman Reigns could take it to him. That's super believable. But again, you get yourself in like a Gunther situation where you only have a select handful of guys. Yeah, I just don't know if Jey Uso. I'm just sitting here like, does Jey Uso get the win? I could see them putting Jey Uso over Oba with a bunch of fuckery, with Jacob coming out, Jimmy coming out. There could be a bunch of run-ins. Roman could instruct because Jay's like, I'm going to do this shit on my own or whatever. Maybe Roman instructs Jacob because Jacob has said, listen, Usos, whatever. I love you guys, but I don't listen or give a fuck what you guys say. I just listen to what Roman says. So maybe Roman instructs Jacob to make sure Jay wins or some shit like that. And then that costs Oba it gives him a loss or something. I don't fucking know. I did hear an allegedly, okay, before
allegedly
Oba versus MFTs was discussed as like a possibility of, and I think this may have gone back as far back as like when JC was still like JC Mateo, Jeff Cobb was still in the group and shit. But MFTs, like him running through them. Pause. So maybe it's like the next step is Oba 1v2s the Usos. Right? Because does he get a partner or he just takes on each Uso individually? Maybe he takes on Fatu, who he eventually does beat. And then it gets him to Roman. Roman beats him. And then Oba has got to like win the Rumble. And then he goes through the Rumble to get his shot and finally get crowned at Mania. We're long-term fantasy mark booking here. But I don't know, man. Jay could win this shit. I just have a feeling he's gonna get the dub in Saudi. And people can be mad, but they need Jay in Saudi. And he had a good match with Javon. And so again, the fans called Jey Uso defeating Javon Evans another ruthless depression moment in WWE. 23K dislikes to 6.9K likes. So say what you will about it. That, ladies and gentlemen, was WWE news and a bit of a SmackDown review. Me being a hater on SmackDown. And Sky JD4 has been a member for 21 goddamn months. 21. Long months, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely spectacular. Okay, we're going to get into TNA news. And speaking of TNA, ladies and gentlemen, somebody who expressed interest in TNA once. Good there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into a little guys. Hit like, hit retweet if you're on X. Give a heart and a retweet or whatever. I appreciate you guys so much. Come say what's up. You can super chat, and if we get to 10, we'll do a sicko segment tonight too. We do have ratings wars, and we do have dirt sheet fails that we're getting to. I put together a segment, and by the way, another person who had interest in TNA, the Kiss Demon. I should have went with Kiss Demon, right? Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for TNA news, and boy, do we love some news. So recently, Tessa Blanchard left TNA, and the first rumors were that CMLL gave her an ultimatum, and it turns out that wasn't the case. She corrected the issue on all of that. And Tommy Dreamer left, and he had a nice little cry on Busted Open. And Sami Callihan got a phone call thinking, hey, I'm going to be bumped up to creative or whatever, and I got released. And then other folks like Tasha Steeles and Myla Grace re-signed, or Myla Grace, no, she left recently, and so did Steve Macklin, and then someone else re-signed. Tasha Steeles, someone else re-signed, I completely forget, but either way, the rumors are that Delirious might head up creative, also Road Dogg might get brought in. So who knows? Lots of rumors swirling around, but we did get some corrections on things. We got a statement from Sami Callihan. Tessa Blanchard blew this whole thing wide open and let everybody know what the deal was. And I gave her the benefit of the doubt. I said, hey, it's like the movie Michael, where Michael Jackson, he always gets other people to do things for him, as far as like, can you explain to my dad I don't want to do this tour or whatever, like and I was like, maybe she just blamed it on CMLL. Well, no, we actually got answers to this stuff. Give me 1 second. Sorry, there's just a fucking bug I had to get. Anyways, now it's gonna rain, guys. Sorry. Okay. So there were a number of people in the production circles at TNA who were cut. Okay, so names I don't think we have yet, but I'm sure they'll come out, and it's probably names we don't know if it's on the production side. Okay, but the former Knockouts champ says it was TNA, speaking of Tessa Blanchard, that made her choose between them and AEW and New Japan partner CMLL. Okay? So it was TNA that made her choose. And I think, is there a clip from her, or was the quote? Yeah, so this is what Wrestle Pierce said. Fightful had this to say, pardon me. Tessa Blanchard was about halfway through a 3-year deal before departing TNA. Sources within TNA claimed they were going to rework her deal to offer her more money, due to CMLL booking her and paying her more. So they claim, and this might be them making shit up. So Tessa says they gave me an ultimatum, right? And we'll go to cage side seats here just to read if she has any quote. So TNA called it a workforce reduction, a beneficial one. They told her she needed to make a decision if you're a CMLL fighter or if you're a TNA fighter. After consulting with her dad, Tully Blanchard, and realizing that she likes her life in Mexico and has many achievements and goals to pursue, still in Lucha Libre, the controversial second-generation wrestler chose to be 100% with CMLL. Okay? So TNA allegedly gave her an ultimatum. Now, TNA is alleging that we were prepared, and this might be them licking their fucking wounds because they look stupid here. Okay? And this might be them thinking to themselves, we fucked up, and saying this coping. Because they are like, we were going to rework her deal to give her more money because CMLL was paying her more and booking her more. So I don't know if that's true, but even though people are being released, there are people re-signing, and we're about to go over some of these folks, okay? But first, here's what Sami Callihan had to say on his TNA departure. And these comments are interesting considering other people re-signed and for long-term deals. So we'll get into that in a moment.
Take us through the
shout out Busted Open, Uncle Bully, David LaGreca, and Sirius.
phone call, please.
I had woke up at, I think, like 10:30, 11, and my phone was blown up. Hey, Tommy's done it TNA, and the amount of people on the roster that messaged me is like, it's finally your time. You're getting added to creative. You're getting added to creative. You're getting added to creative. Within 5 minutes of me waking up and getting all those text messages, I got a notification on my email. Hey, we need to have a conference call at 1. And in my mind, I was like, oh shit, I'm getting added to creative. Like, this is what I've been lobbying for years. It's what a lot of, maybe not all of them, but a lot of major people on the roster at TNA has been lobbying for years. It's what I had dangling in front of my face from another administration before this current administration. I was like, it's finally happening. So I get on the Zoom call and they start talking. I was like, in my mind, I'm like, maybe this is still, maybe I'm getting ad. And then, it came to, we're sorry to us, we're going to have to part ways. And I kind of went off. I am not one of the people that usually goes off like this. I try not to be very profanity laced. And I don't think it was a thing of screaming or yelling, but I stated my case. I knew that company, I feel like, almost better than anybody, from the wrestling to the production to everyone there. And I had good relationships with everyone. I stated my case. I was like, hey, this.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I talked to JJ about this, and I don't know if this is like losing Callahan and Dreamer. And again, Callahan was like, oh, dude, Dreamer's gone. I'm going to get called up. So it's all kind of shitty. It's like, because now it's Delirious or maybe it's Road Dogg. So it's like, fuck, you have to fire people to bring in new people no matter what. And Callahan. So if Dreamer got fired and he took the creative, he wouldn't have been pissed. But now he's pissed because he's also one of the people being released. You know, it's shitty, but it is what it is.
This is
you know?
Why I think you're making a terrible mistake. This is why I think this isn't happening right now. I am not the guy. And I was told as part of that Workplace Reduction Act, and I went, that should not be me. I never thought in a million. I thought I was going to be a lifer at TNA. And I was talking to some friends of the company yesterday, and I said, I think my loyalness to the company that I'm working for is good and bad. I think I'm loyal to companies to a fault at this point, when I could have left years ago and went on to do other things.
Yeah, but like what? You were the fucking world champ and shit years ago. So I don't know, man. Shout out Sami Callihan. And we also got AAA on, guys. So make sure you're watching your weekly lucha. Okay. So we move along here, and Eric Bischoff says Road Dogg would be a huge leap forward to TNA over Tommy Dreamer. Now, I'm not sure if Bischoff worked with Dreamer. I think he did to a degree, like when he was a general manager on Raw. I think Dreamer was in the office, or at least maybe he was even still on the roster during that time. But even if he wasn't, I think he has more experience working with Road Dogg, no? Because even when Bischoff was in WWE for like a cup of coffee there, I think 2019, something like that. I think Road Dogg worked there, right? So I don't know if this would be true. Again, I don't work backstage there. I don't know who's the better creative, and maybe this helps their creative going forward, not having Dreamer or Callahan and having Road Dogg and Delirious or something. I have no fucking clue. I'm willing to see it out. But remember, Dreamer was there for 6 years. Like, he brought them to the dance on AMC, and it just seems like a lot of the shit they've done, like losing Tessa Blanchard, is just like such an L in my opinion. I don't know. I already went over all of that, but shout out Uncle Easy-E. And Sami Callihan continued along beyond the creative aspect, and he believes that TNA letting him go had to do with the company is losing money. And he said there was a lot of people that parted ways with TNA 2 days ago. I think it boiled down to, I think the company lost a lot of money. And I think a lot of people under salary that they may not have been like, okay, well, this person doesn't wrestle, this person doesn't do that. I do think it's a money thing. And I agree. Like, if people aren't doing shit, then yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right? Like, ditch them. But here's the thing. As first reported on the Battleground podcast, Trey Miguel re-signed with TNA, and apparently it's like a multi-year deal. And he's getting paid pretty good for sure. So Trey Miguel re-signs. I mean, that's a great re-sign. And then Allie. So you lose a Tessa Blanchard. You're up in Allie. I mean, she's doing stuff with Mara Sade, and she's doing stuff with Rosemary. And I've always liked Allie / the Bunny. And that's good. But is she going to draw? Is she going to bring in the eyeballs the way Tessa did? I don't know. It remains to be seen. I don't think so. And I do like Allie a lot. And I always thought the Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny, I've said this before, they were a fucking cool looking act, at least. And it's good to see that Allie's back in wrestling because she was always a positive. And she is, was in TNA like years ago. I believe, right? Wasn't Allie? Yeah, Allie was in TNA. Allie wrestler. Because what did she do there? CZW Impact Wrestling. Yeah, it was in the 2013 to 2019, just so long ago. Holy fuck. So yeah, she was there a long ass time ago. And that's all good. But I mean, again, some of these people, like, would Allie have still got signed? And is there money problems, like Callahan's saying, or maybe not even problems, but are they just losing too much money? If it's like we're going to bring Road Dogg in, you think they're going to pay Road Dogg any less than they pay fucking Tommy Dreamer? I don't think so. So shout out Allie, I guess. And they're signing people. It's not like, Tasha Steeles and stuff. It's not like people aren't signing. And TNA and OVW are working towards an agreement that would see OVW become essentially a developmental system for TNA. That agreement is set to be signed very soon. Good for them. That's actually dope. I'm going to like and retweet that. It's actually really good. And you love to hear shit like that. And so this guy here had something to say. He's a TNA referee. Speaking of Tommy Dreamer. And he reffed in TNA. Maybe he refs outside of TNA. I don't know if he's still there. This multiverse of matches was like a while ago. But Tommy Dreamer pulled me aside backstage at a TNA show telling me he would do everything he could to make sure I don't earn a job in the wrestling business. All I did was try to learn and grow from experiences through his words, though his words were very discouraging for a young student to hear. So now this guy's just shitting on Tommy after he got fired and seeing him cry. And he goes, I didn't set out to prove him wrong. I simply thanked him for their advice and went another direction. The pro wrestling business is for everybody. You just have to find where you fit in best. Don't perform just for someone else's ideal vision. Perform out of your own passion. Take critique like a professional and thank them for their time. However, don't allow someone to coercive you. What? Share your burning desire to succeed in the pro wrestling business and others who appreciate you. This is a community, not a tyranny. So yeah, just letting everybody know that Dreamer was a piece of shit to him and told him he was going to bury him or whatever. But this gentleman here, Blake Axe Avignon, posted this. Sources. Anthem's Len Asper has set a $30 million floor for a potential sale of This Is TNA Wrestling, with his preferred price in the $40 million to $50 million range. The premium reflects toxic debt on Anthem's books that any buyer would be expected to absorb. No deal is imminent, but the number is out there. So it's so funny. Is Dave melting down? That obviously fake story, Brian. Everybody, it's a fake story. No, but he only does it for AEW and Tone. I wonder why. Right? Like, why wouldn't this is just coming from Blake Axe Avignon, ex-CAA, WK, GS&P, Octagon, Sports Business, IP, Brand Consulting. Okay? So this Blake is a legit dude. He's a legit fellow. And He's of the same ilk as a Niccolo Piccolo. So Niccolo Piccolo says, hey, man, this number's at Tones, it's out there. The YouTube thing, this is what's out there. It's out there. Nothing formal, but it's out there. How dare you? It's a lie. He who shall not be named, Brian. We can never speak of this, Brian. No meltdowns when it's TNA. Oh, it's preposterous. It's ridiculous. I bet you Dave's like retweeting this, talking about how they're going to sell. They're looking to sell. He'll take this as legit. The premium, okay, no deal is imminent, but the number's out there. Part of what underpins that price, TNA's TV deal with AMC includes guaranteed money now plus option years that could raise its value down the line. AMC also holds rights of first refusal on TNA's next media rights negotiation. That rights of first refusal, ROFR, is the wrinkle. A buyer isn't just pricing TNA Wrestling. They're pricing a television deal they don't fully control going forward. And Asper's guaranteed AMC revenue alone gets him most of the way to his floor. Worth the history. In 24, a group led by Scott D'Amore offered roughly $10 million. And this is what I'm saying. They should have sold it to Scott D'Amore. And shout out this dude. His name's AO. He just fucking stands TNA. He probably works for them. He's probably like on their street team or something. I have no clue. His name's like AO Productions or something like that on Twitter, and he just stands TNA. But he responded, I was like, they should have let Scott D'Amore buy it. And he responded, he's like, well, what would Scott D'Amore, what value would he have brought, and what would it have, whatever, these guys bringing up like $10 million and all this shit. Motherfucker, I don't care about that. Like, that's when it's okay to go, dude, no, you don't get it. They were cooking because of what D'Amore was doing. It got them the fucking AMC deal in the first place. Then their buzz fell off. I want them to be buzzing. Now I don't care if the company's making more money. They just made 30 million extra on top of whatever they were doing before. Like, figure it out. You know, like fucking Tessa Blanchard should be signed to the company. And Scott D'Amore, what value would he have brought? I don't fucking know. The good creative for the show that had everybody buzzing and shit about, you know, all of this stuff leading into the fucking deal, and like the way he was re-signing people in the ring and having these moments. And now people are calling Carlos Silva a cuck who fucking sits in his cuck chair and waits to bring the title out to whoever. Like, you know, it is what it is, man. It is different optics. Like, you gotta understand that. So yes, do I want TNA to make all the monies? Yes, but they just made like a bunch of money. So I want them to have like motion again, you know? And that's what I think Scott D'Amore would offer. And okay, the 10 million, that's nothing compared to the 40 or 50 that they're trying to get. But let's face it, are they going to get 40 or 50? Fucking very doubtful there, bud. So, so Scott D'Amore offered roughly 10 million, including assumption of TNA's debts. So that means D'Amore was confident he'd have been able to get rid of that shit as well. So they're like, it's toxic debt, but it can't be that bad if D'Amore was willing to put up 10 and go, and I'll take care of the debt and stuff. Like, it seems manageable. So this 40 to 50 range would, you know, they're saying that this 30 million would cover his nut or whatever. But the 40 to 50 is what's going to make the Anthem guys pocket a couple milli or whatever. So, you know, you can see why they're doing it. The numbers are floating around, and we'll see if anybody picks up on this. But valuing the company between 7 million and 12 million, respectively, Anthem rejected it outright, no counter. And the rumors are that, you know, D'Amore and Anthem, they just viewed that he came in hot. They kind of viewed him as he was too big for his britches, and he viewed them as they kind of don't know what the fuck they're doing in the wrestling business. Fair enough, right? But D'Amore went and did his MLP and got on TSN and shit. So it just shows you, like, he knows what he's doing, and he just went and did some other dope shit on his own accord anyways. So he was going to go D'Amore was getting TV deals and running it, whether he had TNA or was doing his own thing, he was going to do this regardless. And he had 10 million he was going to put into wrestling. So shout out D'Amore. You know, he's fucking, that's some gangster Canadian shit right there. But whether that gap is real growth, AMC international deals, additional sponsor revenue, or Asper betting the market has changed more than it has is the question. We'll find out when someone actually bids. And people are like, what sources? Really interesting, great stuff. Let's see what people are saying. TNA, at Titan Tower. The most funny outcome, Vince buys TNA and books TNA. Yeah, now the power's in my hand. The power's in my hands now. Yeah. See, what I did was bought my competition. Jesus Christ. So that would be funny. Trust me, bro, source. And then see, people are like El Grande Snowman House, and we react to some of his shit on this show. He drops funny stuff like Felting AEW and Sickos and stuff, but it's like, you don't need to source, trust me, bro, Blake Axe Avignon, because you're not doing that to Nicolo Piccolo. Okay, and this is the thing. Some of these wackos don't keep the same energy. That was my problem with the Sickos in the you know, and then they got out of pocket. So yeah. We move along here. And Blake follows up and he says, additionally, multiple WWE sources indicate the toxic debt on Anthem's books is the primary reason WWE isn't viewed as a buyer for TNA. WWE already has the TV reach, audience, and talent pipeline TNA would offer. Talking on that debt plus a TV deal with AMC, taking on, I'm dyslexic, that WWE wouldn't fully control, no excuse, just saying, makes an acquisition far less attractive than simply poaching talent or licensing the library outright. So WWE's like, fuck that, because it would just be us. Like, we already are getting Santana. We already are getting Slater. We already are getting Sosa. We already will get the Hardy Boys. We've had them. They're in our video game. You know, we make Hardy Boys merch again. We fucking already got Joe Hendry and Jordan Grace, right? Like, we don't need to. We already have a partnership in place. So a lot of people don't think WWE will buy. I think they should, if they want the library of like guys that are, you know, Kurt Angle's a legend on a Legends deal and all of these sorts of things. Like, there's a lot of guys who work there where you might want their libraries, but also that's some passe shit. Like, it's only worth it if, like, what do you do with the TNA libraries, the old shit? You do what TNA's already doing with it now. You just like put it on YouTube or put it on Tubi or Roku or whatever the fuck. So why would that, like, back when WWE had the network, that would make sense. And like, sure, it'd be good for their YouTube and shit. They would just take over TNA's YouTube. They do decent numbers and stuff, but a lot of those guys too, like Samoa Joe, dipped out and went to AEW and stuff. So I just don't think it's worth it to them. If Tone swoops in and buys it, it'll be such a dark day. And you know he'll do his little Vince McMahon moment. We bought the competition. And that will be the darkest day, one of the darkest days. It'll be called Black Saturday. It'll be called Black Wednesday, 10 minutes before Dynamite, 7-minute promo. Do you know what I'm saying, guys? It'll be like him. He'll do one of his Twitter live videos. I bought my competition. That's right, me, Tony McCon. I mean Vince McMahon. I mean Tony Khan. The best guy, bought my competition. JJ Alexander 45 says, tune in for White Heat episode 146 tomorrow at 12 p.m. So there you go, guys. I plugged it earlier, but I didn't know when it was coming out. And yeah, I went over on Full Circle Radio and JJ fucking buried people to me that was burying people and fucking told me some crazy stories of some shit I had no clue about, his personal insider pro wrestling beefs, guys. So go and check that out. It's a good one. Shout you out, buddy. So yeah, I mean, that's it. That's TNA news, guys. I got nothing else to add. Shout out Blake for his breakdown, and that makes sense. He's not saying there's 500,000 viewers on TNA Plus. He's not saying some outlandish shit. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was TNA news. And JJ got us halfway to a sicko segment too, so guys, What do we do next? What do we do next? We could do some ratings wars now. Raj Giri was gone. I think he was on a trip or something, so he wasn't posting the true ratings. No, we didn't get as good breakdowns, I don't think, this last week or whatever. Is what it is. But we do have other interesting things to talk about that are, pro wrestling adjacent, more or less. Yeah, the competition's in the palm of my hands. I bought my competition. I could totally see Tone doing some shit like that. Ray Phoenix just won in AAA as well. He just won the Cruiserweight title? Let's go. Shout out Ray Phoenix. That's what you like to see. Yeah, Laredo Kid rules too. He's got that fucking Green Ranger gear on. It's like my Fortnite skin. No, I'm just joking. Okay, guys. Let's get into one of my favorite segments, and it is called Ratings Wars. Where's my war sounds? Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Ratings Wars. So this guy King Troll says this should be a loud and clear statement. SmackDown needs to be booked better by Triple H. So they go to the O2, and instead of turning the O2 into the O3, they have 4,000 tickets sold, and they're set up for 9,000 now. This was like a week ago, this update. But do you think they moved like 5,000 tickets in a week? Maybe. I doubt it. And also, regardless of that, there's like 17,000 seats on the map. So, this is a bit of an L, man. SmackDown definitely needs to be booked better. And you're going there into the UK, it should be hot, not be doing fucking Dynamite numbers. So speaking of Dynamite numbers, this last Wednesday, again, just for proof, they did 3,300 people. It was set up for 3,600. And the number of seats on the map, they don't even have it because that's probably what it is. And it was their venue debut, and they were selling tickets for $40. So I don't know, man. Is what it is when it comes to Dynamite. Yes, they're doing over 3,000 a lot of the time, but they are offering way cheaper tickets and making a play of casuals. And I just don't know, based on these crowds, if they're liking what they're seeing. I know Dave will blame those people. I don't. I blame the booking and the creative and how you guys don't market yourselves correctly. But AEW Collision on June 13 drew on June 13 drew 364,000 viewers, 0.04. So again, there's like 200,000 floaters that unless they have a strong lead in, it just, it's just terrible ratings. So Fox is buying Roku in a $22 billion deal. And again, what are the responses to this? Like, More monopolies. Okay, Fox is buying Roku in a $22 billion deal. That is fucking crazy. If that's true. We move along. And they don't, they're putting AEW on Tubi, and they're about to buy Roku for $22 billion. So there you go. But basically what happened was this, man. Dana White came out, speaking of billions, and he said that the UFC Freedom 250 show was going to do 1 billion viewers on Paramount, they think. Furthermore, one of the Paramount guys came out and was like, I think we'll do 125 million or something like that. He gave like a more specific number that was reasonable, but still just outlandish. And then this happened, and Jake Paul had to flex on everybody. So we take a look at this graphic here, and let's read this. The MVP, this is courtesy of Champ RDS, Championship Rounds. The MVP MMA event on Netflix had the same viewership as the UFC White House event. Netflix total subscribers, 325 million. Paramount Plus total subscribers, 79.6 million. Now, again, you're getting tribalism in MMA. It's fucking hilarious. Now, the Netflix show, it's a W because they did better in further breakdowns, as you guys will see. They actually did better overall than the UFC show, I think, on a technicality, which we'll get into. However, Netflix has way more fucking subscribers. They have, it's like 4 times the size, right? That's what she said. Oh, go. So that's where you could say it's an L for Netflix. Like, how the fuck didn't you beat Paramount when whatever? Paramount has about 80 million subscribers, let's say, rounding up. They drew 17 million, so it's an L for UFC because they were talking shit like we're going to get 1 billion viewers and all of this stuff, and they did the same, if not worse, than this Netflix card. But it isn't an L because they're, like this Netflix card was on a platform that's 4 times the size. You guys get it, right? Like you could look at it. Both are taking W's and L's a little bit. So the UFC White House event reached a total of 17 million viewers. So that's pretty cool. But Jake Paul reacts to the UFC White House event viewership numbers. First event versus 329th event. Where y'all at, UFC? And deservedly so. They should be talking shit a little bit. And so MVP posts 9.3 million. So the average, they peaked at 9.3 million. Now, I don't know. That's MVP dropping the numbers. That's Jake Paul dropping these. So I don't know who made his graphic, but 9.3, according to him, was the overall high-end average. And then UFC Freedom 250 peaked at 7 million. But then that other graphic we saw was 17 and 17, which may have, or that would have been the overall peak, right? And then what's the replayability on all of that? It's interesting. But yeah, we have another dog in this fight if Jake Paul and them can stay consistent. And it is interesting to see somebody put TKO on their back foot a little bit. It's funny to see the tribalism break out in MMA, like it has in pro wrestling. But at the same time, there's been tons of MMA promotions that have started strong like this and then fizzled out and put UFC on their back foot multiple times, much like WWE. WWE's been put on their back foot multiple times and have come out on top. And so it'll be interesting. It's interesting to say the least. And these streaming numbers are like cool to pay attention to, right? Because that's where everything's headed ultimately. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Ratings Wars. And I like what chat is out here saying the UFC show is much better to watch, but tribalism equals clicks, views, no matter for what. I don't give a fuck what the MVP numbers were. That UFC event completely destroyed that BS, bro. And that's just it. So when they're even like that in the viewership, fuck the rest. Now we just got to break down, well, what was better? Now it's where the debate, like whether you're the biggest Batman fan or you just you don't really like Batman, everybody can admit Batman rules. Same thing with Spider-Man. Okay, Marvel and DC both rule. It's all cool. Let's just debate shit based on its merit, right? And so that's what happens when you have, like, when their numbers are the exact same, that's when it becomes like, now let's just kind of subjectively debate what was better. I think some things aesthetically are objective. You got to, like, the production was so good for both shows, but the UFC Freedom 250 blew it away. But I already gave my review of that MMA Netflix MMA show, pardon me, and I put over a bunch of the stuff they did production wise too. So we move along from all of that. And we are going, so yeah, Mercedes Monet's taking on Maya World at Forbidden Door, which is interesting. We're going to get into some dirt sheet fails here, guys. Mercedes Moné, though, she beat, who did she all beat in the women's Owen? Women's Owen Hart tournament. I know we already did AEW news, but I just want to look at these brackets again. Okay. Is this 2026? No, that's the first one. Jeepers. Women's. Okay, so Monet beat Alex Windsor, probably because Will Ospreay smashed her to death, bruv. And then she was wiping herself off. And then Monet came in and tapped her out. And then Monet beat Hazuki. And then she's taking on Maya World. Maya World beat Sky Blue Athena, which is crazy. Yeah, if they want to do something wild, man, and you believe in Maya World, have her beat Monet. It's what you fucking do. But how is any of this Forbidden Door? This is the problem. This is the problem. Remember when Elite XC was going to overtake UFC because they had Kimbo Slice? Well, they did put UFC on their back foot, though. And then they fucked up because it was insinuated allegedly that they paid a dude to fucking stand with Kimbo, and then the guy that they paid to do that knocked Kimbo out, even though he was a last-minute replacement. And then their business collapsed. Another time when UFC was on their back foot was when Bellator was starting to do numbers, and they were starting to sniff around fighters to bring in, and Dana White and them brought CM Punk in because they're like, fuck it, we got to do something. Like Brock Lesnar worked for us. We got to do something to fucking tip the scales again in our favor. And yeah, they look at Bellator now. It doesn't even fucking exist. So it's interesting. But UFC, I mean, even Strikeforce was catching momentum. UFC had to fucking buy them. And that was the other thing too with Pride. Like Pride FC had so much momentum, and they were, I mean, whatever the business that made it go out of business, that's a whole other story. But like UFC, like Dana went there with Chuck Liddell to try and beat all their guys, and he fucking couldn't do it. So he eventually like bought them out and stuff. So I don't know. They've been on their back foot. Vince has been on his back foot with scandals, as far as like the steroid scandal and all of that, all the way through. Really think about it, all the controversy till the end of his career in wrestling, and WCW and things like that. If you want to even argue, AEW made them go, oh shit, we got to offer people more money. And if we really want to keep them, because, and there was a while in WWE where they were paying people way more. That's a fact, because they were like, fuck, we can't lose all of our guys to this other company and have them start kicking our ass when we're in a groove and we're about to sell this thing for a bajillion dollars, right? So It's good when other promotions are like, fuck, we got to fight back, you know? And in MMA, that, I mean, it's happened a few times, but not recently, you know? Anyways, let's get into some other stuff, some dirt sheet fails, guys. Let me drink some coffee. And let's head over here. It's the newest segment on the show, and it is my favorite segment on the show, and it is called Dirt Sheet Fails. So speaking of Mercedes Moné, she responded to somebody. It was Fightful, and they reported on some shit, and then she responded and was like, don't post my sub content. So they took her subscribers' content, and because obviously someone who works there subscribed to her, and then they posted a story about her, and it was Fightful that did it, and then they deleted it, I'm assuming. So shout them out. We move along here, and Raj Giri, he took some time away from reporting on ratings, but you can never take time away from felting Matt Keane. So at Matt Keane Music says, Raj, my brother, you owned Wrestling Inc. And Raj Giri says, yep, never charged a dime. So take that as you will. It's just funny to see them all bickering. And so we move along here, and let's see. This was reported by Ringside News, who said Triple H allegedly refused to put over D'Lo Brown during the Attitude Era. Okay, and then this guy Google searched, and who knows if AI is correct, but on July 98 at Raw's War taping in Binghamton, New York, D'Lo Brown defeated Triple H to win the European Championship. This historic victory marked D'Lo's first reign with the title, which he won thanks to interference from his Nation of Domination stablemates, The Rock and Mark Henry. So let's see what was said here in this Ringside News article. So Vince Russo said, this is why it's in here, bro. Vince Russo, let me tell you, coach. Oh, wait, I forgot. You're the coach. I'm the bro. Even though I call you bro, I'm the bro. You're the coach. Got it? Okay. Listen, I swear to God, bro, I remember D'Lo was such a freaking company guy. It was so easy to write for D'Lo, so easy to book for D'Lo Brown. And coach, I swear, bro, I'll never forget this. And I don't even know if I've told this story. I don't even know if D'Lo knows this story. Hand to God, bro. I was the writer of the show, and I wrote in the script for Triple H to put over D'Lo Brown, bro. And Triple H had a problem with it, bro, and wouldn't do it. And coach, I read Triple H the freaking Riot Act. I said, bro, he has put you over 97 times, and the one single time when I want you to put him over, you're going to have a problem with that? I will never forget that, because, bro, if you would have asked D'Lo to put your grandmother over, D'Lo would have put your grandmother over, bro. And that was actual audio recording of Vince Russo. So that's pretty funny, man. And so this is just Vince Russo on the Coach and Bro show. And it should be called the Coach and O show, because they're fucking just batting terribly, okay? They are fucking striking out, dude. And so this dude here, Mr. Eddie Gillette, posts where D'Lo beat Triple H for the European title.
Epic fail.
We move along here because the self-made boys have found themselves, the self-made crew over here have found themselves in some hot water once again. So the fellas over at Self-Made, these gents who, you know, have been called out by the fucking wrestlers, had to quit working at Fightful, fucking get felted online constantly, have fucking memes made about how cringe some of the stupid shit Elbu says, getting shut down by Tyrese Halliburton on his fucking pod or whatever. Whoever went on his pod, you guys remember that? Tony Khan not dapping him up, like just failure after failure, right? Elbu and the guys over there over at Self-Made, right? They're always fucking up. And so here's them just pretty much getting buried by people recently. And so Elbu had this to say. Self-Made wrestle purists, I'm not sure. I think it's all the same thing. Maybe not. I'm not sure. But Self-Made for sure. It's that little crew. So Elbu said, speaks to WWE's age problem. The wrestlers that are the young guys are in their mid-30s. Big E, 35. Rollins, 35. And this is back in 2021. Reigns, 36. Priest, 38. Many 40 and up. And then Elbu's like, they need to prioritize setting up Roman's replacement immediately. This is in 21. You know? And then this guy points out Daniel Garcia, Marco Stunt, Griff Garrison, Top Flight, Nick Camarado, Britt Baker, Sammy Guevara, Sonny Kiss, Jungle Boy, Hobbs, Jade, Ray Phoenix, Starks, Pillman Jr. Yeah, over the last 5 years, like WWE have scooped up a bunch of people, and AEW's let a bunch of the quote-unquote young guys, oh, we can't wait to see these guys, let them go where they floundered and they're not anywhere. Like compare Daniel Garcia to Obafemi. You know what I mean? So we move along, and Self-Made reports, as of last week, LA Knight's name was circulating within WWE as the planned winner of the King of the Ring tournament before those plans changed. So it's just like, how the fuck are you going to say before these fucking plans like anyone could make this up? LA Knight was supposed to win, but then those plans changed. He's not even in the finals. Ah, man, it's so funny. So good. And that was like 4 days ago. So speaking of LA Knight, Elbu goes, the LA Knight has a love-hate relationship with The Office, is willing to call stupid things stupid, and some of the top guys think he can't work. He's unlikely to ever win the world title. The sooner everyone accepts this, the better. He speaks as if he works. He speaks as if he's hanging out with LA Knight and works in WWE.
Sure thing,
you know
bro.
what I mean?
Sure thing.
And then this guy, Super Pony, says, do some of the top guys think Jay can work, not including Roman, obviously? A dude is literally asking him, do some of the top guys, like he knows any of them. Like magically Self-Made doesn't just have a designated stooge. And Elbu goes, I don't know, but Jay's protected. Crazy to just like speak as if you know this shit confidently. So he goes, Mr. Eddie Gillette again, dude. Fucking filleting these dudes. No, of course, Elbu wouldn't speak like that. The second tweet is more your style. So look at this. Look at this shit. And again, Elbu had to comment on the Will Ospreay stuff. And this is a great side-by-side comparison. Elbu had this to say, I wouldn't publicly speak about my wife like this, not my style. But that's me and what I'm on. I personally think it's strange to feel entitled to dictate how a couple behaves with each other. Not to say that people aren't allowed to cringe at or get the ick from the line in a promo, which, fair. Just a ass take. A fucking take from tweets. You see tweets like that in 2K games, 2K sports games. But look at this, Elbu. This is him responding to... Who was he saying this about? I think it was Britt Baker, but he says, you cheated on that N-word. Stop using his move, LMFAO. Whoever he was saying that to, but also remember the Britt Baker stuff. So he's comfortable speaking on other people's wives some type of way, but not his. It's weird. I personally think it's strange to feel entitled to dictate how people behave. go back to Elbu fucking doing exactly what he says he thinks is strange. And we all think you're strange too, Elbu. Fucking madness, man. Like, he's just absolutely cooked. So we move along, and someone else who's cooked is this King Gao guy, self-made AO or whatever. And everybody's always melting down and hating on this dude, and he's always saying dumb shit. So this guy says, parasocial tweets about Alex Windsor and Will Ospreay just drove Alex to deleting her social media, and a week later, y'all are at it again. I'd like to think the person that literally just married Will Ospreay is perfectly fine with how Will Ospreay acts and talks. Well, I thought it was believe all women, bro, so lock him up. No, I'm just no. But seriously, like, yeah, I don't even think anybody's saying, to me, it's just cringy. Like, Ospreay's just cringy and middle schoolish, and that's what all the people in AEW seem to go in, that like 8th grader mentality of like, we fuck or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, dude, I had sex, bro. Do you believe me? Like, it's like, whatever, dude. And it's cringy the way a lot of these guys talk and what they get away with while trying to also tell people they're a family show and stuff. It's just cringe. But anyways, I don't know. So this guy's like white knighting for their relationship, of course. He's like a sicko, right? But he's self-made. I think he works with self-made. But parasocial tweets, is it parasocial? I don't know what he's referring to here in this first line. It drove her away from social media. Then a week later, you guys are at it again. So obviously they were catching heat for something they were saying before online. I'm unaware of that. But this guy here, Eddie Gillette, says, this coming from King Gao, who along with Elbu went on a Discord and charged $20 to spread rumors about Sky Blue sleeping with guys in AEW, which caused fights in the locker room. What a sleaze. Yeah, and the Britt Baker stuff and other shit. So this person here, Corinne. So I'm assuming a woman. It's Corinne with a flower or Corinne with a flower, right? So that's got to be female. Lex.
I don't know.
Me neither. Maybe there's pronouns in the bio. I don't know. But they say King Ao is the same asshole who went behind a burner to fat shame me and call me a beached whale when I posted about my graduation, all because I said he was annoying on my private account. Women are constantly treated like shit here. Yeah, so a woman. There's a reason why I'm not as active on here. And so let's take a look at this, right? Janela killed Sabu. Now, immediately, it's an accusation of this is a burner. So I go, what's similar? So with King Gao, the all caps, right? The all caps, KXN Gao or whatever. And then you look here, Janela killed Sabu, all caps, the star in the name. Right. So could all be a coincidence. I'm not trying to be the black helicopter, but a star in the name. So you'd look at things like that for, okay, this could be their burner. And then, yeah. So this person was saying, holy shit, you are fat and ugly. Your body being so misshapen is actually comical. Don't post another picture of yourself until you drop 30 to 50 pounds. That's crazy. Fat ass. You fucking beached whale. Shut up, you fat bitch. LMAO. And so Corinne continues and says, the account literally only interacted with his main's tweets. So I'm like 99% sure it was him. This doesn't even bother me anymore because the account is gone now. And I generally don't give a fuck about wrestling Twitter, but I hate how people can get away with treating women horribly so easily. So then Eddie Gillette again, dude, more like Felty Gillette, says, just did a quick search. And that's exactly how he talks on Twitter. Get your old fat ass out of my mention, Tubbs. Oh, dude, they fucking puzzle pieced it together. Look, it's exactly the same. Oh, you fat piece of shit. It's the exact same type of vernacular, dude. And like what triggers you, missing the entire pay-per-view cycle, fucking comical IMO. So that's what that other account was saying, comical IMO. Shut up, bitch. Shut the fuck up, you weird little bitch. Shut up, bitch. Whatever. So I don't know. Who knows? You never know in this fucking in the Twitter sphere how if someone's a burner, but like you can catch people, like if you just pay attention, you know, if you take the time and you're like, okay, this is a fucking 0 followers, but they follow fucking 4 accounts or something, like, okay, who did they follow? That one of those is likely their fucking burner. So I don't know. This person called it out who's like, I don't even give a shit about wrestling Twitter anymore, but fuck this guy, you know? And there you have it, guys. That, ladies and germs, was dirt sheet fail.
Epic fail. Failure.
Oh my goodness, that was amazing. Guys, are we to get out of here this evening? I think we covered pretty much everything that I set out to cover. And it is getting late, especially if you're on the East Coast. East Coast vibing. What's chat saying here? And yeah, I thought I put a poll in the fucking chat. I didn't. God damn it. My bad. I was going to. Yeah, so I don't know if Collision's still on or not. I don't really care, to be honest. AAA was dope, like the ending. Ray Phoenix captured that title finally. So that's fucking awesome. And I think the goal says 3 out of 10, but I count 5 out of 10, so I don't know. There's 10 minutes left on it, but it's all good. We can wrap things up here, guys. And then next weekend, so guys, tune into Memba Monday because we're returning with Memba Monday. Also, make sure you guys tune into Wednesday's show. And Saturday/Sunday. So Sunday is like a fucking mega day of wrestling. Okay. A super, super top guy day, Brian. And, you know, I'm fixing to possibly stream the whole goddamn thing. We'll see. Maybe we'll set another goal and if we reach it. But yeah, we'll link up on Wednesday. And I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. And yeah, so we have coming up, dude, we have Night of Champions in Saudi. And then the next day, NXT Great American Bash all in one day, TNA Slammiversary and AEW Forbidden Door. Now, for me, there's not a lot of hype on any of them. I just got to be honest. Now, I'm hype on some of the characters that are going June 28, TNA, NXT, AEW. I want to see if there's a graphic I can pull up or something. All I'm saying is this. I'm not particularly hype about any of these, but NXT's got some characters and shit. They're going in a direction. We're seeing them build up to stuff, and they're sort of in a rebuild phase. TNA, you got every fucking title on the line. So that's cool as shit. And that's a gimmick in and of itself. And Nemeth versus Santana is going to be awesome, but it's everybody can't wait to stooge that Santana's gone mid-July, so Nemeth is probably going to fucking beat him and win the title again, go on another run, which he should. And then Santana can take off and go to fucking WWE. And who knows if he'll go to NXT or what. But AEW Forbidden Door, I could not give a shit. I'll preview these more in depth, like on Wednesday's show or something, okay? But like, I really couldn't give a shit. It's not even Forbidden Door-ish. I'm kind of interested to see if Maya World beats Monet, but Maya World, like, it still needs work. Like, they're throwing her to the wolves. I mean, hopefully she rises to the occasion. Fucking Night of Champions, though. Like, love Jey Uso or hate Jey Uso. I'm looking forward to that with Oba. You have the triple threat for the WWE title. I'm looking forward to that. Liv Morgan, whatever. The Queen of the Ring is whatever. And yeah, that'll be on at like an early time too. So we'll stream early that day. Okay, guys? Anyways, though, I enjoyed hanging out. I love you all. Round of applause for the PWT universe. I have been Phil S.
You
Marks. I'll
are
see you
a
guys next time.
naive, brainless, pathetic, idiotic, clueless, dumbass Mark.
And I will see you guys on Memba Monday. Peace.
Every booking is golden, you see. Perfect cards crafted for you and me. Yeah, the best guys, Tony Khan, it's true. Triple cup, best damn booker in the land. 3 red cups stacked up, always in command. Triple cup, living legend of the fight. Just a call away from making it right. Never see him back hard, no way. Got the whole roster locked in for the day. A Crimson Tower, modern art. Triple cup. Triple cup. Every booking is golden, you see. Perfect cards crafted for you and me. Yeah, the best guys, Tony Khan, it's true. Triple cup. Best damn booker in the land. 3 red cups stacked up, always in command. Triple cup. Living